Hello and welcome back to Teesside Autodrome, round number 2 of the NRG Cycles Owner Sprint Series. We rejoin with the recommencement and we're going to go with a full restart of Junior Rotax Heat number 3. The first half of the race, which will no longer count, had an incident involving Melissa Adrian and James Philip Byrne. Melissa, she's been taken to hospital by her parents with a bit of a discomfort in her arm, so they're just going to get that checked out. James has gone to the hospital via an ambulance just for precautionary checks, but he seemed to be doing okay. Massive shout out, Tom, to the marshals and the medical team, in particular the marshal straight in front of the commentary box, who's our start line marshal, who was immediately down to Melissa Adrian, making sure that she didn't move, because the natural reaction is to try and get back up. Particularly as well to the marshal that spent the best part of half an hour laid down beside James Philip Byrne, just holding him steady, making sure he didn't move before the ambulance arrived for them. So massive shout out to the medical teams here at Teesside. Did a superb job of just keeping everybody calm, keeping everything under control, and allowing us to now go ahead racing here again at Teesside.
Yeah, absolutely. We cannot commend them highly enough here. The support and medical team here at Teesside is absolutely fantastic, always has been and always will be. So welcome back. As David said, we will have a full restart of the Junior Rotax third heat. So that will recommence as far as we're aware, as a full race.
Full race, Tom. We're going to have a complete restart of that. We're still in the early phases of that race. So drivers are down there in the dummy grid. I think they've just explained to them by our clerk of the course down there just exactly what's going to happen in terms of restart, because if we were a certain distance into this race and they'd recommenced it, I think we'd have gone off a single file restart, which is the normal recommencement method. If we'd gone for a split race, which would have been one single lap behind the leader and then a green flag and go. But with it being a complete restart, it will be a full rolling start in the original order, with, of course, the exception of Melissa Adrian and James Philip Byrne. Only got 5 carts out at the moment. The remaining 4 to make the 9 remaining runners are making their way out. They have come out somewhat slowly. Behind Joseph Yao, who will be in 6th place at the moment on track. So unless Monroe Renard does get this one slowed down, I think we might end up with a roll round. But Renard has slowed them down round South Bank to the point now where you can try and get everybody else onto the back of them. Although I think already, Tom, we've got the false start flag being shown over start finish on the overhead gantry.
Yeah.
So in any case, looks like it could well be unlikely that these runners get into place as they come through. So it looks like we could be rolling round again, which I think is a wise decision now, because they definitely weren't in the correct order. I think with Yao coming out slightly slow from the dummy grid meant that they weren't in the position they needed to be. So we're going to have a second bite of the cherry in Junior Rotax. 9 remaining runners then, of course, with Monroe Renard and Addison Smith off the front row. Then it's Joseph Yao and Oscar Waugh, with Sam Robson and Luke Walton. Then it's Max Wilkinson and Jared Fox Whiteley, with Oliver Green in P number 9.
Just being told, as you can see down the back straight, by the marshals just to slow down ever so slightly and keep the pace to a reasonable level. Of course, with these Rotax carts, you don't want to go too slow, otherwise you'll oil up the plug, and then the spark plug, that is, and then they will have serious issues with getting any kind of acceleration off the line. So they need to keep up a reasonable pace. They head out of hairpin 4, and it looks like we're about to head over the start line and get going this time.
Through they come then for the junior Rotax, resumption of the third heat. Renard gets a good start and almost identical to the last one is Addison Smith getting down the inside of Joseph Yao to move him up from third place into second, immediately onto the back of Monroe Renard. Trying to work his way through. Jared Fox-Whiteley finds a way through in the middle of the pack as well. So he started in 8th place, moving up now inside the top 6 in P6. Renardo and Addison Smith leaders round the South Bank corner for the first time in this third heat for junior Rotax. It looks like Smith has found a way through on Renard now, Tom. He leads.
He has, in fact, and it's been fairly steady away so far, with the exception of that overtake. It seems everybody's sorted themselves out quite quickly and into line.
Top 6 split by 1.1 seconds. So all still fairly close. This, though, is where Smith needs to use the opportunity to break away. Because in 6th place on the back there, you can see Jared Fox-Whiteley, double race winner so far today. In fact, he wasn't, because he was leading until the final lap of Heat 1 when Addison Smith came through to take the victory. Then Fox-Whiteley got Heat number 2. So if Addison Smith can break away this time at the front of this race, that's going to put him on pole position for the final. So still leading the way, gaps half a second from Addison Smith back to Renard. Then Joseph Yao, Oscar Waugh and Jared Fox-Whiteley now up into 5th place. Max Wilkinson in 6th with Robson, Walton and Green completing your junior Rotax grid.
Yeah, and bathed in glorious sunshine here at Teesside. We were expecting a little bit of rain as Fox-Whiteley has a look down the inside of Oscar Waugh, but can't quite get the move completed there and then. But yes, full sunshine here at Teesside. It feels like a summer's day out there. It's still a little bit chilly in the air, but it is very, very summery out there. As you can see, the flowers and the daisies are all in full bloom here at the side of the track as well, making it look very, very pretty out on circuit. It's that time of year, David.
The daisies and dandelions.
Daisies and dandelions, yeah, but summer's around the corner. You can feel it. It's nice now. I think I'm solar powered. As soon as the sunshine comes out, I feel like a new man. Look at Monroe Renard in front of, was in front of Joseph Yao. Now is in front of Oscar Waugh and Jared Fox-Whiteley, although Oscar Waugh fights back. Joseph Yao fights back and manages to hold on to 1 position instead of losing 2. Addison Smith breaking away comfortably at the front now.
Fastest lap of the race as well there with a 42.339.
Yeah, Fox-Whiteley struggling to get past here on Joseph Yao, although gets good drive out of hairpin 2 and now will get this move completed as they take the right-hander through South Bank. And Fox-Whiteley on the inside gets that move completed and will, I'm sure, start to move towards the back of Oscar Waugh and Monroe Renard once again. He's going to bring Joseph Yao with him, though.
Smith with half a second on the field on that last lap opens the gap up to just over 2 seconds.
A little bit of a touch there from Oscar Waugh on the back of Monroe Renard, and Fox-Whiteley taking full advantage of that. On the inside of hairpin 2, gets good drive again, as we've seen on the previous lap as well. Gets a move completed down the back straight quite comfortably. Really good drive out of these hairpins for Fox-Whiteley. Already onto the back of Renard.
I think he's going to have to settle for 2nd place in the final at the moment, Tom, in terms of grid position, because Smith out at the front's got a gap of 2.7. We are heading towards half race distance, of course. In this race, it's going to take quite a lot for Jared Fox-Whiteley, even if he does get through up into 2nd place, as he puts the move down the inside on Monroe Renard.
Lock pass.
Yeah, and does move up into 2nd place to close in this gap now on Addison Smith at the front. Renard pushing him along. I think he might need a little bit more of that if Renard can stay with Jared Fox-Whiteley.
It's what they call in American motorsport the slide job. Here we go. There's one from Oscar War as well, where you just send it up the inside and have the park the car in front of the one you've just overtaken and make them push you out the corner.
Yeah, Oscar War there, taking a robust line. Then I've
just didn't quite get the slide job fully.
Then I've just seen Monroe Renard go very, very wide around the national loop as well. 2 drivers racing out of the Teesside Karting Academy stable. So I wonder if it could be somewhat frosty down there after this third heat. And Oscar War's moved down the inside of Monroe Renard.
There we see that Teesside Academy car of Stick It Up and liveried of Max Wilkinson. So he goes down the inside of Joseph Yao at hairpin 4, gets that move completed nice and cleanly. Good move from Max Wilkinson.
Moves him up inside the top 5.
Whoa, as there goes Yao around completely on his own.
Yeah, snatched the brakes as he closed up on the back of Max Wilkinson and sends himself across the grass, drops himself down into 7th place as Sam Robson comes through. We've already lost Luke Walton in this race, down to the number 12. Fox Whiteley, though, with the fastest lap, 2/10 quicker than Addison Smith on the last one, but is now needing lap times in the realms of half a second quicker than Addison Smith. At the moment, is just commanding this race out at the front.
Yeah, looks comfortable at the moment for Smith. The gap came down again, only by hundredths this time, not even a full 1/10 of a second from Fox Whiteley. So Smith looking comfortable at the front of this one at the moment. Of course, Smith taking the win in heat number 1 here today.
Oscar War with a personal best. So since he's got past Monroe Renard, he's been able to open up the gap. Obviously, Renard made that mistake a few laps ago down a national loop, but on the previous lap, War was some 4/10 quicker. So in the free air, he's been able to move away as well.
Not quite, or is he able to start moving onto the back of Fox Whiteley? Not quite. It was about half a second slower that lap as Fox Whiteley put in a fastest lap of the race. Full 2/10 quicker than Addison Smith that time round, but I think he's going to run out of time to catch Smith unless Smith really does ease off and start to Sunday drive it towards the checkered flag. But Oscar War, unfortunately, looks to be dropping off the back of these front 2, but moving away from Monroe Renard. So the field spread starting to take effect here, and we should have it's looks like, barring any mistakes or any major issues, it looks like it might end up finishing as we are right now. But 2 minutes plus a lap to go. Yeah, stay tuned. You never know what's going to happen in Junior Rotax.
Absolutely not. Very equal on lap times on the last lap with Smith and Garrett Fox Whiteley. And they'll go off the front row together if things stay as they are. Smith on pole position with Fox Whiteley alongside for the final. Very, very interesting race that, Tom.
Yeah, looking forward to the final, definitely. In fact, I'm looking forward to pretty much all of our finals. We look like we've got some really good lineups and good battles going to be taking place, particularly the senior pro kart and also Honda Cadet is looking like that's going to be a great race.
Closing up again last time was Fox Whiteley by a 10th, but as the time ticks down, it all plays into the hands of Addison Smith. With 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. A little bit of a radiator flap adjustment for Smith, so temperature definitely coming up. Fox Whiteley's still down. Just having a quick look, they're doing 42s, Tom. Addison Smith's going to cross the line here around about 50 seconds as Oliver Green hits.
I was just about to mention that. Oliver Green's just pulled it off and into the pits, so that will be an 8th place finish for Oliver Green. Will be potentially classified, maybe not actually. It might be 3 laps down, so might be
it's completed half race distance, so he will pick up points.
We'll pick up points, yes. Yeah.
That's the 3rd time though Green has come in towards the end of the race. I don't know if he's got a problem with temperature on that engine, but certainly with a couple of laps to go in all of the races so far, Green has peeled off into the pit lane.
Be interesting to get to the bottom of that one as we look at Oscar Waugh comfortably in third place now, 3.6 seconds, or it was previously 3.6 seconds clear of Monroe Renard now. So once Oscar Waugh got through that pack, has moved away quite comfortably. In fact, it's out to nearly 4 seconds now. Fox Whiteley still 2.5 seconds from the back of Addison Smith. So it is just spreading out here in Junior Rotax as we head towards hairpin 4 and across the line with the final lap board going out this time for Addison Smith. As we said, already won a heat today.
Heading towards pole position, of course. 2 heat victories. I think, or
Fox Whiteley won heat 2.
Yeah, but if Smith wins this one, then obviously Fox Whiteley though did have a strong second place. So it could well be that he's on pole. I don't know where did Smith finish in his.
Well, he won heat 1 and then was off the podium in heat 2.
So it will be Fox Whiteley on pole position.
I think you're right,
It will be Addison Smith alongside.
I think it would have been Melissa Adrian going off P2, but unfortunately she's not going to be here to take that place.
Now, out of the final corner, though, comes Addison Smith to take his second heat victory of the day here then from Jared Fox Whiteley. Then it's going to be Oscar Waugh in third place. Great finish for Waugh as he crosses the line in third place in front of Monroe Renard and Max Wilkinson in fifth place. Sam Robson and Joseph Yao, who had the incident at the D chicane where he tagged the brake and went into a spin, dropping him down into seventh, unable to recover any higher. And then Oliver Green, who was in the pits with 3 to go. And then Luke Walton as well, who retired, shown as 13 laps down, so only completed 3 laps and not classified, was Luke Walton.
So that brings to an end our first race back here after the lunch break. That was Junior Rotax heat number 3. 2 more heat 3s to go, and then we will roll straight into our final without any break whatsoever because we've already had it. So coming up next will be heat number 3 for Senior Rotax.
So all the juniors are off then, Tom? Don't think we've got any recoveries, so
no,
we might as well crack on with this senior grid.
Looks like we're away, aren't we, and about to be up and running. So Arthur Lowthian goes off pole for the random grid of Senior Rotax Heat 3 with Martin Fisher in second place, Alfie Warbank in third, Shane Collinson in fourth, and Paul Swan in fifth. Kieran Savage in sixth, with Nathan Jensen in seventh, Andy Hull in eighth, and Andy Collinson will go off P9. So your results today, Shane Collinson has taken 2 wins and Alfie Warbank has taken 2 third places. Martin Fisher and Andy Collinson have both had a second place. And both been off the podium.
Shane Collinson's going to have to work for this one, isn't he, going off the back? So I think you just need to have a bit of a reshuffle. We need Kieran Savage to slot back into a position in a few moments' time, although is he electing to go off the back, which he can do if he wants.
Why would you want to do that?
I don't know. Well, no, I think he's rolled in now nicely into that position there. We are Andy Hull down. I think we are missing at least one.
Yes, I think we are, yeah.
In this Senior Rotax race. Through and over the start line they come now. Lowthian will lead the way with Fisher on the outside as they head down towards the right-hander of the national loop. Lowthian's held on to the lead as they make their way round. Lowthian from Fisher, Shane Collinson up to third already as Andy Collinson goes down the inside of Alfie Warbank.
Warbank took a lot of curve through the first of the wiggles and got himself a little bit airborne.
We could be missing. Are we missing Nathan Jensen as well here, Tom?
I think we might be.
He's the other runner in the 34 that we've not got out for this.
Yeah, we're missing a few. Maybe an overextended lunch break. That'll could be a little bit of a further problem. But it is Arthur Lowthian to leaders over lap 1, followed by Shane Collinson, who's come almost from the back to now lead as he overtakes Arthur Lowthian through the national loop. Then we have Martin Fisher, Andy Collinson in the 177 class, Kieran Savage, although that's now changed because Fisher's now overtaken Arthur Lowthian as well, and as they head down the back straight. And there goes Andy Collinson through as well. So Lowthian unfortunately not able to hold on to that lead for very long, and is starting to drop down the order.
He had a strong opening lap, but then went slightly wide round the national loop. That opened the door for Shane Collinson to come through. And then since then, Martin Fisher and Andy Collinson managed to find a way through. Kieran Savage now, the next driver, trying to make a move on Arthur Lowthian, but Lowthian holding him off round the first hairpin. Onto that back straight. Savage trying to dip his head down ever so slightly behind the steering wheel. Can't get alongside though as they head down towards the South Bank corner. And Arthur Lowthian remains in 4th place.
Yeah, heading over the line now for the start of the 4th lap already. And it is Collinson from Fisher and Andy Collinson. Shane Collinson setting the fastest lap of the race. Moves away from Martin Fisher. Full second clear now, and it's going to be whether Andy Collinson, I think, has got any kind of answer for brother Shane, although obviously in different classes. Andy running that 177 weight limit, so an extra 15 kilos. Shane Collinson, of course, winning both heats so far today, so going for the hat trick and the clean sweep here this weekend. Has anybody got any answer for Shane Collinson? Come across the stripe one more time. Shane Collinson again, another fastest lap, 41.780.
Almost half a second quicker than his brother and in turn anybody else out there at the moment. Fisher
good battle here. That's Kieran Savage just passing Arthur Lowthian, and I think I was going to say Alfie Warbank followed him through, but he's not quite. He tried to go around the outside of South Bank and couldn't get the move done. Paul Swan still there as well. So we've got a good battle here over 4th place.
And Swan right on the back in 7th place, but 4th all the way down to 7th, split by a little over 0.8 of a second.
Can I give you a little bit of disappointment about Paul Swan? Changed the font on the numbers.
Yes, he has.
I don't like it.
Away from the Lightning McQueen font.
Yes. I mean, that was the trademark. That was that's the Swan trademark.
It's a different colour as well.
Yeah. It's a new sticker kit and a new number font. Paul, I know you'll watch this back. I'm not a fan. Change it back.
And if you could change it into sky blue and papaya at the same time, Tom will be a massive fan.
Massive fan, yeah. Anyway, that's Warbank. Tried to go around the outside of the dog leg and the kink of Arthur Lowthian, but isn't able to get the move done once again. Warbank really struggling to get past Arthur Lowthian here, and Lowthian doing really, really well to hold on to this 5th place. Paul Swan still right there as well, even with that terrible standard number kit on the car.
Thought Warbank was going to put a move in down the inside there into hairpin number 1. Certainly looked close enough, but couldn't get the move done down the inside.
I do like Paul Swan's new sticker kit. I just don't like the numbers.
So, would you like to backtrack any further, Tom?
No, I'm all right.
No, okay.
I don't need any oars for rowing back any further. I'm all right. But I do like the sticker kit. Just go back to your other font, please, Paul. It's the Swan trademark, isn't it? They all run the 95, or try to run the 95, all of them in some way or another, and they use that Lightning McQueen font. There goes Warbank finally making that move stick on Arthur Lowthian. He's had about 4 or 5 attempts at it and finally gets that one done, and immediately onto the back of Kieran Savage, and looking very racy there as well. Tried to had to think about taking 2 in 2 corners. Is it going to be 3 corners? No, it isn't. Manages to tuck it back in and stay behind Kieran Savage at the moment.
Did really well there to get the overtake done, and then immediately slot straight in behind Kieran Savage and give himself half an opportunity to get through. Really close around the national loop this time. It's only a matter of time before Alfie Warbank manages to find the way through as they head down towards hairpin number 1. And
there he goes.
Slides it down the inside.
Fully locked up as well. It's a classic hairpin 1 move that we see in these quicker karts, particularly senior Rotax and senior Pro Kart, where when you are making that overtake down the inside, you will have the back end stepping out and you almost drift it into the corner. It's a great watch.
3 minutes and 45 seconds remaining then in this 10-minute plus 1 lap. Third heat for senior Rotax. Shane Collinson with a gap of 2.6 seconds from Andy Collinson out at the front, who's found the way past Martin Fisher in these last few laps. And then it's Warbank, Savage, Loudian and Swan. Battle for second place with Fisher around about a quarter of a second further back than Collinson as they came over the line on the previous lap. And they're all thereabouts with Andy Collinson all day. Obviously different classes in terms of weight, but they've been very, very close. Yeah,
there's always been somebody in close company with Andy Collinson all day, in fact. Whether it's been Martin Fisher or Alfie Warbank, they've, like you say, David, they've been there or thereabouts. I think adding the extra 15 kilos to Andy Collinson has been a bit of a leveler.
Certainly has, hasn't
Might have to do it to Shane Collinson in the next round as well. Maybe we'll do a BTCC style
success ballast.
Success ballast, exactly. Yeah, I think we'll start doing that in senior Rotax and see if we can bring these a bit closer together. Wow, Martin Fisher had a really good look at Andy Collinson there. I'm not sure why he backed out of it, to be honest. He was fully alongside from what the camera looked like there. Maybe the camera tried to lie to us a little bit and didn't quite show it it showed it as a bit of an optical illusion. Maybe he wasn't quite fully alongside, but it looked to me like Fisher was just going to stick it up the inside and make that overtake.
Yeah, I thought there was a real opportunity there for him to get it alongside into hairpin number 3. Remember, Collinson was going defensive earlier on in the race meeting by cutting to the inside towards the South Bank corner very early on that back straight, but looks like it's a little bit more routine for him this time in having to defend off Martin Fisher. Behind them though, Alfie Warbank looks like he's closing in. This could be a very interesting final 2 minutes in this race with 1:30 plus 1 lap to go. If Alfie Warbank can close in on the back of Martin Fisher, half a second quicker on the previous lap was Alfie Warbank, so he could well be there or thereabouts on the final lap. He's only 9/10 of a second or so behind Martin Fisher, so could close right in at the end of this race as Fisher has a look over his shoulder just to see where his nearest challenger is.
Looks like he's in the clear in terms of attacks from behind from Alfie Warbank. Although Warbank has been closing in.
Yeah, half a second.
Yeah, half a second, in fact. Yeah, on the previous lap. So, I mean, he was in the clear half a lap ago, and he will be in the clear for the next half a lap. But then perhaps Alfie Warbank could be there and could bring this fight to Andy Collinson as well as Martin Fisher.
Yeah, closed up a lot there on the brakes into hairpin 1, very similar into hairpin 2, and now they're equidistant between second, third and fourth as they go down that back straight.
And that was actually a nervous look over this time from Martin Fisher as they went down the back straight. I think he knows that now he is going to have to make a move on Andy Collinson. It's not good enough to just sit behind anymore because he is going to come under attack from Alfie Warbank. There'll be another look behind here, I'm sure, as they come over the line just before the final lap board would have gone out. So we're going to get 2 more laps here. Shane Collinson again with holding the fastest lap at the moment. Set it on lap 4. Personal best coming for Fisher and Warbank late in the race. They were coming on lap 13, which was one before we just had. Already Warbank right there now on the tail of Fisher.
Yeah, almost 4 seconds down the road is Shane Collinson.
Got a little bit crossed up with Warbank there as he thought about having an overtake on Martin Fisher, but backed out of it, got himself all crossed up. Final lap board is out and Shane Collinson has already gone through and taken it.
Gap is almost out to pretty much bang on 4 seconds now for Collinson, who's dictated this race from start to finish since he's got towards that front. Andy Collinson then still in second place. Martin Fisher unable to find a way through, and now under increasing pressure from Alfie Wallbank as they go down the back straight. Collinson to the inside to fend off any potential overtakes, though it has been generally into hairpin 3 where Fisher's looked interested. Out of the final corner though is coming Shane Collinson. We'll keep an eye out on the battle for second. Collinson takes the victory from Andy Collinson. It will be Martin Fisher and Alfie Wallbank in third and fourth place respectively, in front of Kieran Savage, Arthur Lauthian and Paul Swan, all crossing the line within a second of each other as well, from fifth down to the seventh respectively. So they're going to make their way round, and I think we'll move swiftly on, Tom, to Senior Pro Cup, because as you know, it's a massive grid to get through.
And it's a rolling start.
Of course.
So we're going to be sharpish here. Moving on.
Grid then will be on your screen for Senior Pro Kart. Christian Oblag will start this one from pole position on the random allocation, with Harry Roddis for company on the front row. Simon Doughty and David Brown on row 2, Lee Austin and David Brewis on row number 3. Then it's Brandon Truman, Reddish and Alban Dow, Jessica Alexander and Dalton McCarthy on row 5. Caitlin Frame starts 11th, Maximus Shields alongside. And then in 13th, it'll be Josh Folkers and Alfie King in 14th. Anthony Eke starts in 15th with James Wilson alongside. Matthew Houshey and Oscar Buckley are on row number 9. The top 20 then completed by Marty Gilfillan and James Kay, with Jacob Kadani and Sean Feehan on row 11. George Ludwell and Amy Frey on row 12. Then it's Liam Gallop, and then we move into our junior runners. Leon Wilson, Catherine Potter, Sophie Pawsey and Joseph Williamson. Now, I don't know if the cameras can pick up the back of this pack coming through in a few moments, because in Junior Pro Kart, keep an eye out for Sophie Pawsey. If we can see if we can pick up the back of the field as they come round down this back straight, because she has got a brand new helmet on for heat number 3. Was delivered during the lunch break here, Tom. Let's keep an eye out for a bright yellow helmet in a few moments' time coming around right at the tail end of this one. Bright yellow, keep an eye out for it if we can. We need to be even further back on the cameras, all the way back. Let's see if we can pick it out in a few moments as the field comes together.
There it is.
Bright yellow helmet there from Sophie Pawsey. That was a prize that was won at the Teesside end-of-year presentation provided by SJD Custom Design, Max Plant and Milestone Motors. She designed it herself, it was delivered during the lunch break, and she wears it for the first time. We're away and racing in Senior Pro Kart. Christian Oblag will lead the field down towards the national loop for the first time. Harry Roddis is going to try and stick it out round the outside, but has to drop back in behind. Oblag then will lead them through from Roddis, David Brown, Simon Dougherty and David Brewis, with Brandon Truman Reddish squeezing the 151 kart down the inside of Lee Austin, and then exactly the same happens back to him from Josh Folkers and Jessica Alexander as well. Surprisingly, once again, Tom, migrating together in this Senior Pro Kart race. I think Alexander this time has put the move down the inside on Josh Folkers around the South Bank corner. It's the first time she's managed to find a way through.
Yeah, first time she's been in front of Folkers all day, although Folkers immediately returns the favour and comes back through. Does he? They go side by side through the final corner here and does slot back in front. So Folkers from Alexander in 6th and 7th, but it's Oblag who leads from Roddis, Brown, Doughty, Brewis, the aforementioned Folkers and Alexander, then Truman Reddish, Lee Austin and Caitlin Frame, your top 10.
Max Shields, Tom, once again not picking up on the timing, but is now just slotted past Brandon Truman Reddish and up into 8th place behind Jessica Alexander, so that will move everybody else down one. So looks like he's not picking up on timing. He had this issue last time, didn't he, where he was one time, contact, Tom, heavily into the back of each other, into the there, and David Brewis, once again, he's getting his elbows out as well. Jess Alexander, Josh Folkers and Harry Roddis, once again there, trying to find their way through. So the field seemed to concertina together somewhat into hairpin number 3. Now behind Harry Roddis, who is into 4th place.
Yeah, Roddis showing well here, obviously got a good grid slot, but showing well and holding position as well as he can. Just as I say that, Alexander goes through.
Opened the door for Brewis as well, didn't it? And I think
did.
Focus is only a matter of time before he gets through. Roddis is going to get hung out to dry here because Shields is in the gap as well.
Sorry, Harris. Sorry, Harry.
Yeah, really unfortunate for Harry Roddis there.
Because I started talking about it.
Yeah, but there was nothing he could do. That's the thing. You know, he was just in a position there, and Shields robustly down the inside as well of Brewis. Roddis is still trying to fight this one out. He's out onto the curb on the outside, but giving himself a good showing. There was very little he could do there. The cart went down the inside, and he just couldn't get back in down the back straight towards the south bank corner. Sometimes you just don't get you don't get the cards. You know, you don't get them dealt to you in the correct way, unfortunately. And,
no, and Alexander has just taken third place on the road, which is second in the pro class from Simon Doughty. So we'll start to move towards David Brown as well now, well, we would expect, and then Christian Oblag, who is currently at the front of this race and showing very well.
So out the final corner they come then. Alexander with the fastest lap on the previous race as her ascension towards the front continues. Oblag, Brown, and now Alexander up into the top three. Focus with the fastest lap that time round there with 46.6. Moves him up into P5 behind Simon Dougherty, which will quickly become fourth because he sends one down the inside of Dougherty. And immediately Dougherty now will come under pressure, I think, from Max Shields down there onto that back straight.
Yeah, tucking in behind the steering wheel, you can see Shields there. I think it's going to be perhaps hairpin 3, or is it going to be 4 for Shields, or perhaps neither?
Dougherty parking that cart well.
Yeah, he is, making it very wide and difficult for Shields to get through, and Shields really needed to follow Focus through and stay in the slipstream to have any chance of winning this heat.
Oblag from Brown then. Oblag still holding firm. Brown a little bit quicker on the previous lap, as was Alexander. So top three are going to come together really nicely. Shields with a slide job down the inside.
Yeah, got that move done very nicely. Yeah, at hairpin 1. So the front three have started to come together now. We've got a warning go out for the 172.
James Wilson.
Yeah. Not sure what that was for, potentially contact. It's certainly a warning. Jess Alexander takes second place away now from David Brown. Josh Focus is right there behind as well, so it's closed in on the front three, but that's given a slight gap to Christian Oblag now. Showing really well here, Christian Oblag. He's had a good day so far, and it's still continuing and managing to hold his way, certainly through the first 6 laps of this race at the front.
Junior Pro Kart, a good proving ground, and Christian Oblag out at the front will come under pressure now from one of the best in Jess Alexander.
Focus has now taken third place away from Brown and gives a little tap to say, can you give me a push if you can, to try and close that gap on the front two.
Oblag, Alexander, Brown and Focus, although that will change as they come over because Jess Alexander moves through down the inside of Christian Oblag into hairpin number 4. And Jessica Alexander will come through to lead with 4 minutes and 25 seconds remaining from Oblag, Focus, Brown. Then it's Shields, still not showing on timing, but in 5th place with Simon Dougherty, David Brewis, Brandon Truman Reddish, Caitlin Frame, Harry Roddis, and Jacob Kadani, Tom, in the number 10, our leading novice runner, faring very well. Just in front of Alfie King and Amy Frame.
And Josh Focus took second place away there from Christian Oblag, and it was a case of wherever you break, I'm going to break later.
Just a quick one, Tom. We've got Marty Gilfillan in the 95 going round without a nose cone on the front of the cart. The Nauseo panel's there, but the actual nose part, so it looks like it's the actual clip has popped off. There's 2 clips on the front that hold the thing, and she's picked up a technical defect flag over the start finish. I'm sure she'll be coming in anyway. You can actually see, I think, something there on the outside of the National Loop corner. Doesn't look like it's one of the clips. The marshal's already been over and collected that nose cone.
And Jess Alexander feeling the need to go very defensive to try and hold off Josh Focus, who is now right there and side by side. Contact between the two as they go down the back straight. And Falk is looking very racy, and wants the triple header, the hat trick of wins here. Already won Heat 1, already won Heat 2. Side by side, they come over the line.
You can see here, Tom, and Volkus is not going to give that one up. Volkus with a move all the way around the outside of Jessica Alexander. She tried to squeeze him into the middle part of the track there, but Volkus kept his foot in all the way around the outside. He moves through into the lead as Shields and David Brown come into a little bit of contact into hairpin number 1. Brown
and Oblak goes through and takes second place away from Alexander.
Look in the background, Brown remonstrating with Max Shields and then trying to run him to the inside of the track. There was contact from Shields into the back of David Brown into hairpin number 1. Brown got back through into hairpin number 2, but then clearly not happy as he continues to remonstrate and run Shields to the inside of the track down the back straight.
Yeah, and meanwhile, Alexander is re-overtaken Oblak, but that's given Falkus a gap of 0.685 of a second. So Alexander's going to have to go hell for leather now to close that gap up with 2 minutes plus a lap to go. Well, potentially needing some help from Oblak here in the form of a push.
I think with the form that Shields, Falkus has been in today, Tom, 0.7 of a second, it's pretty much game over.
Well, you never know. Stranger things have happened, and slipstreams come into account still. Even at 0.7 of a second, Jess will be getting a slipstream from Falkus of some kind. And Shields is still struggling to pass David Brown as well. Brown doing a good job to hold him off.
Top 5 moving away. There's a good gap back then to David Brewish, just in front of Brandon Truman Reddish, Caitlin Frame and Simon Dougherty, with Harry Roddis still running well in 11th place, or in 10th place now. Shields actually being shown back on timing now in P5 there in the 181 machine. David Brown, very, very defensive into that hairpin 1. That's why Shields is just trying to create that gap, trying to find a way through. I think he might have to look somewhere else though.
Oh, there we go, blocking all the way down the back straight from David Brown, putting his car exactly where it needed to be. Shields not happy with that, and there's a big tie rub between the two.
Yeah, I think I wouldn't be surprised to see a shared contact warning flag for the two of them, because David Brown definitely came across and then turned in a little bit. He's still having a bit of a go at Max Shields there. Contact warning for the 181.
I don't think David Brown did anything particularly wrong there. He just he put his car exactly where he needed to be, saw where Shields was trying to go, moved across in front of him. I don't think there was much wrong with what Brown was doing at all.
Not in terms of the defence. Obviously, Shields then created the gap down the inside with that little bit of contact.
Tried the can opener down through South Bank. Let's see what happens this time.
It was more of a case then for me that Brown saw that he was there and then decided to turn in on him in a bit of a show of defiance. Hence why I said I wouldn't be surprised to see a shared contact warning. We often see that.
We have got one go out for Max Shields, yeah.
Which I'm not surprised at all. Side by side once again over start finish. They are going to be running through, but Shields is going to be on the outside.
Yeah,
slots back in.
Can't get the move done there. Fastest lap of the race for Falkus, 46.501, which is a quick time today. We've got the gap's gone out to almost 0.8 of a second now to Alexander. Christian Oblak still holding third place, and comfortably now with these two scrapping away for what is fourth place. Of course, we haven't got Shields showing on the live timing.
Well, we have now. He's back in.
Oh, he is.
Manually done. Final lap though, Tom. Sorry, with all the excitement. We just missed that one just over start finish, but out of the final corner. Josh Falkus, 3 races on random grids and 3 victories for Josh Falkus here today at Teesside Autodrome. Wins from Jessica Alexander and Christian Oblak, with David Brown and Max Shields in 4th and 5th. Then it's going to be Caitlin Frame in front of Brandon Truman Reddish, David Brewish, Simon Dougherty and Harry Roddis. Amy Frame crosses the line to win in our novice class, having got past Jacob Kadani towards the end, with Liam Gallop holding up Oscar Buckley in the top 3. Sophie Pawsey once again wins in our junior pro kart class, making her way up into 16th place, having started in 27th. She finishes in front of Catherine Potter and Leon Wilson, the top 3 in that class. I wouldn't mind having a roaming camera down in the paddock, Tom. It was David Brown and Max Shields come back into the pit lane.
Have they? I think there's not been any talk so far on the rolling down lap. I've tried to be keeping an eye on them, as I'm also trying to find. Oh, there he is, Christian Oblak. There we go, on my sheet.
Runners making their way, and we've got some of our junior runners there making their way over the weighbridge.
That brings to an end as well our heats for today. We will move on to the finals very shortly, and it'll be our first final of the day will be Bambino's. As you say though, some great heats here today. Some that have been a little bit tame, shall we say, with a lot of field spread going out. But yeah, there's been a lot of action, particularly in Senior Pro Cup, particularly in Honda Cadet. So we're really, really looking forward to those finals as well. Junior Rotax looks like a really good one as well. And then we've got the side-by-side rolling start formation for Senior Rotax as well. All of that coming up very, very shortly, and we will start with Bambinos. The last few Senior Pro Cups are starting to make McCarthy. Then it is Freddie Blackshaw going off P2 and Sebastian Crawford in P3. Oliver Bullock in 4th and Abel Hutton in 5th. William Wainwright will go off P6 and Verity Crawford in 7th. Now Sebastian McCarthy takes pole position courtesy of a 2nd place in Heat 1 and 2 wins then in Heats 2 and 3. Freddie Blackshaw has had a win in Heat 1 and 2 third places today, and Sebastian Crawford has been the meat in the sandwich, if you like, and has had a 3rd place and 2 second places. So been very close between the 3 of them. Freddie Blackshaw not having the best of Heat 2s, but will go off 2nd place. Sorry, Heat 3 it was Freddie Blackshaw was a little bit off the pace, but will go off P2. So we'll see whether those issues have been ironed out. Still managed to come home in 3rd place though, so it was still a good showing, but couldn't mount a challenge for the front 2. So we just see Sebastian Crawford there roll into P3. As we've said before, Bambinos, they do get a little bit of help here out on the grid. And you see a little tap on the helmet there for Sebastian McCarthy, and just to settle the nerves and just say, you know, it's all right, kids. We're good to go. You got this. A little bit of a fist pump. We used to see the secret handshake with the McGills, didn't we, David?
We did.
That kind of thing, just like I say, just to settle the nerves and make sure everything's all right. They are very, very young kids here, anywhere between 5 and sort of 7, 8 years old. So here we go. Grid being cleared now. Just noticed all the sparkle on the top of Freddie Blackshaw's helmet. You couldn't see it under the cloud, but you can in the sunshine.
Full of glitter, isn't it?
It is. It's lovely. And green flag is up and down, and we're away. And Abel Hutton got started rolling a little bit early there, but has put the brakes on and made sure that it didn't gain any advantage. So it is McCarthy from Crawford, and then it's Blackshaw in 3rd. So it's as you were off the grid, and Blackshaw not able to go with the front 2 at the moment.
No, just got a good enough start, but then has dropped back as the 2 at the front have moved away, and then Crawford takes a wider line round hairpin number 2 and drops back from Sebastian McCarthy, and then has to close up down this straight, Tom. It's the same previously as well, wasn't it? In the in heat number 3, Crawford had all the pace in the first 3 or 4 laps, and then McCarthy reeled him back in. And McCarthy with a good start And it looked like Crawford was some half a second back, but he's going to come through over start finish right on the back of Sebastian McCarthy here in this Bambino final. The first of 6 here today at Teesside Autodrome, 8 minutes plus 1 lap. McCarthy then leading from Sebastian Crawford, Freddie Blackshaw, Oliver Bullock, Abel Hutton, Verity Crawford. Across the line now to complete the 7 runners just behind William Wainwright. I wonder if down the back straight here, if Crawford can get a good run out of hairpin number 2, if he can get alongside in enough time.
Oh, he did.
That McCarthy can't close the door, though. That's the thing.
He did get good drive, but not as good as McCarthy.
Yeah, different phases of that back straight, isn't it? Because Crawford looks really quick in the first half of it, and then with a little bit more top end, it looks like Sebastian McCarthy's got a little bit more on that run towards down the South Bank corner.
Are we fixed gearing here in Bambino?
We are. It's an 82th rear sprocket in Bambinos. I believe that is standard everywhere.
Oh.
Which makes it nice and simple.
Yeah.
What one less thing for the mechanic to worry about.
Yeah, exactly, and also one less thing for the kids to worry about in terms of handling and things like that. Just focus on the driving.
Well, it'll give a consistent power output, won't it? Because the ratio will stay the same between the clutch on the front, which has got a certain amount of teeth on it, and the rear sprocket, which also has a certain amount of teeth on it. So this is an 82th rear sprocket, so it's quite big. It's the same in terms of fixed gearing as well for our Honda Cadets, because they run with a 68.
There goes Crawford down the inside. He's going to be able to hold on to that. Carried a huge amount of speed through hairpin 2 and has got the move done.
Great move then from Sebastian Crawford.
It really was.
Say, came from really, really far back. Now McCarthy's trying to draw alongside over start finish and then tries to slot back in behind, although a little bit too early, and there's a little bit of contact in the rear end as Sebastian Crawford sets the fastest lap, 59.3.
That almost, through hairpin 2, that almost looked as if Sebastian Crawford went, what happens if I don't brake? What happens if I just keep my foot in and take it flat out? Well, that's what happens. You take the lead, Sebastian Crawford.
Straight down the inside, wasn't it? Now, though, being in the lead is a very different dynamic, because now he's not going to have somebody to effectively spot the braking point for him, and then they say, oh, well, actually, I'm going to brake a little bit later to go through. Because McCarthy, once again, tries that move all the way around the outside. Don't think I've ever seen it work in Bambino, but it doesn't stop them trying it. It's a very long way around there with a 4-horsepower engine.
Yeah, it's very true. A long way up that banking as well if you get it wrong.
Comes alongside again over start finish.
And he's got the lead.
Yeah, he's moved through, so got a great exit out of hairpin 4.
I think Crawford found out in hairpin 4 what happens if you lift through hairpin 4 now. Is you can take hairpin 3 flat out and you'll take the lead. You lift off in hairpin 4 and you'll lose the lead.
So what we're saying there is more 3, less 4.
Yes. Yeah. Keep your foot in, Sebastian. You've got this.
Certainly proved he can do it, though.
Now I can say that about both of them as well, because they're both called
Sebastians.
Yeah. We're heading around South Bank one more time, and it is the gap has increased actually from McCarthy. He's got the bit between his teeth now that he's been overtaken, or since he was overtaken by Crawford. Blackshaw seems to be out of it here in the final, as he was in heat number 3 as well.
Comfortable,
significantly off the pace.
Comfortable in third, but
yes, very much comfortable in third, but significantly off the pace of the front 2, which was not the case this morning.
Since heat 1, where he had a really, really good showing, going on to take the victory in that one.
Yeah,
like I say, as the day has warmed up, Freddie Blackshaw hasn't quite gone with it, unfortunately for him. It was a great performance in heat number 1. It hasn't moved through the day with him into heats 2, 3 or the final. Looks like he's going to be in third place come the end of the day, but I think he'd have had aspirations of challenging for the top step at the start of the day, having taken that victory in heat number 1. Will now have to be settling for third place. We've got Abel Hutton out of 5th place, peeling off into the pit lane. His first race week here at Teesside. Mechanic's gone running.
Might be able to get back out and take a checkered flag. It did seem to be running at the very least.
Love to see him get back out and take the checkered flag for Abel Hutton.
He's got 2 minutes plus a lap still to go, so there's potential there to get it turned round and back out, but we shall see whether he is allowed to do so. The gap has gone out to Crawford now, almost 9/10 of a second from McCarthy. Pulling away, oof, that was a bit leery coming out of hairpin 2.
Very tight on the steering. Could have
got the back
induced
end
himself
out
into a spin there.
And yeah, it wasn't really any need for that either. And that has brought Crawford right back into it. Well, I say right back into it. Certainly a lot closer than he was over the line the previous lap. I'm sure we're going to see that gap come down.
More lap traffic in front. You're going to have to negotiate it, and this could be a problem for McCarthy. I think it slowed him ever so slightly. And now Crawford's going to come through. The gap was just under 9/10 of a second. As they come over time this time, it's just over 7. So he has taken a 1/10.5 out with 52 seconds remaining. So that we will get 2 laps onto the penultimate tour of the Teesside National Circuit for our Bambino class. They'll see the last lap board next time round, with Crawford trying desperately to close down this gap of 7/10 of a second to your race leader, Sebastian McCarthy.
McCarthy, of course, holding fastest lap of the race as well at the moment. That's why it is purple in the top left corner of your screen with an FL 59.1, which is about the quickest lap we've seen today, I think, in Bambino's.
Yeah, it's getting to that sort of area where it's spring sunshine, so it does warm the track up, but there's still that bit of breeze, so it works the engines well, getting the air into the engines, so it's heading in that sort of right direction in terms of fastest lap time. Final lap then for Sebastian McCarthy, who opens up a gap of another half a second back to Sebastian Crawford. Looks like this one is done. As long as McCarthy can keep the kart facing in the right direction, Sebastian Crawford will have to settle for second place on this occasion. Came so close, of course, to winning heat number 3, was leading as they headed towards the final lap.
Much better exit.
Yeah, McCarthy found a way through, and now he is heading towards the top step of the podium.
I think he's had a good look behind him and seen that he's comfortable there, and so the exit from hairpin 2 was much more comfortable, much more relaxed this time, as through hairpin 3 and most likely hairpin 4 as well. Nice sweeping, arcing lines from Sebastian McCarthy. Cuts to the inside of the dog leg, round the kink for the final corner and the final time, and the win will go to Sebastian McCarthy. Congratulations to you. And Sebastian Crawford will take second place, with Freddie Blackshaw in a comfortable third place, probably around about half a lap clear of Oliver Bullock in fourth. Then we have William Wainwright in fifth and Verity Crawford in sixth. And as we mentioned, Abel Hutton did come into the pits and retire from the race a few laps from the end. But there we go, that's Bambino's done and dusted, and well done once again to Sebastian McCarthy. And there he's shoved to bits once again. And as I've said before, I'm out on the PA on circuit as far as I know.
You are.
So any winners for the heats today, this is the kind of celebration that I want. This is what you should be doing. This is how happy you should be. Congratulations, Sebastian McCarthy.
Can you imagine if at the end we see Josh Volkers or Jess Alexander doing a lap of that? It would be unbelievable.
I would love it. Absolutely love it.
Still going, Tom, as he comes into the pit lane.
Good for him.
So, Sebastian McCarthy, from Sebastian Crawford and Freddie Blackshaw, then your top 3 in our Coma C50 Bambino class. Tom is getting himself out of his chair, which I'll be too in a few moments' time, as we welcome the start of our final in Honda Cadet. who's not won a race all day, but consistency with 3 second places puts him on pole position for the final. Edward Rye for company alongside. Sam Hayes and Mason Dinsdale are on row number 2, with Samuel Yeadon and William Howard on row number 3. Row 4 then, we'll see Cameron McNeil in 7th with Joshua Sullivan alongside. Luka Batuev and Joey Swan will complete the top 10. Matthew Plant starts 11th, Toby Turner alongside on row number 6. Then it's Ollie Carter and Layla Berryman, Morgan Cooney and Noah Clark with Jake Walker and Riley Blakemore on row number 9. Maximus Lewis starts 19th, Harry McLaughlin in 20th with Scarlett Whittaker-Dunn and Hugo McCluskey on row number 11. Grayson Crawford and Jacob Cartledge, row 12. William Collinson and Harry Scrafton are on row number 13. So Honda's then rolling out, as you can see there from our camera position down at the South Bank corner of the circuit, baked in sunshine as our Hondas make their way round, just trying to get some heat into their tyres for the commencement of their final. 10 minutes on the clock then, rather than the 8-minute heat. An extra 2 minutes for our Honda cadets to see who can take the top step of the podium in this class. Just being slowed, as always, out of hairpin number 4. They'll be then sent forward 2 by 2, Noah's Ark style, towards their grid berths. The start line marshal, Tom, has taken it up a notch. He took his gilet off earlier. He's now put some sunglasses on.
And the sleeves have been rolled up as well.
Rolled up.
Stuff's getting real.
I've not seen a look so cool since Tom Cruise, Top Gun, the original.
Clearly you've not been in an MSUK paddock lately.
Oh, what you mean where all the mechanics wear matching trainers to all their aviators on?
Oh, it's not aviators. It's some kind of like Oakley style jobs, but they've all got iridium lenses to the sunglasses. They all wear shorts. They all wear matching trainers, and they've all got the same haircut. It's like genuinely, if you stood them all side by side, you wouldn't be able to know which team they were actually part of, except for the kit that they wear.
Well, it makes it easy.
Excuse me being out of breath. I've just run.
It makes it easier when they transfer from team to team.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
they don't have to get a new haircut or anything like that.
No, anything like that, or any new trainers or any new shorts. It's just a new T-shirt. That's it. But yeah, they all dress very much the same, and yeah, think they're super cool.
Cooler than me.
Well, I don't know. You're rocking the team kit yourself today, David.
I am. So some own brand.
The old Sullivan Media jacket on. Not sure you need the jacket out there. It is roasty toasty. I've rolled my sleeves up myself.
Still wearing my Alpha Life hoodie and T-shirt underneath.
Are you triple layering, are you?
Yeah. It was cold this morning, Tom.
It is roasty toasty now, I can assure you. Lovely out there. I was wondering whether anybody will be cooking the tyres on the way to the grid, to be honest with you, because it's that warm out there.
You can look here, Edward Rye's got a lot of gravel on his from a line he's taken. That's how hot and sticky them tyres have become. Honda Cadet, though, for their final is almost underway. Green is up. Green is down. We're away and racing. Rye with a good start. It's going to slot straight in behind Thomas Potter. Dinsdale's made a good start, as has Yeadon, as they head down towards the first corner. Some are on the outside. They're going to have to slot back in all the way round the outside of the national loop. Potter then leading from Rye. Yeadon up into third with Hayes. Then it's going to be Dinsdale from Howard, Sullivan, Batuev and Toby Turner trying to make inroads down the inside of Cameron McNeil. But everybody has made it nicely round the first 2 hairpins here on lap number 1.
Potter was under pressure down the back straight from Rye. Who's immediately looking to take away the lead as that is Hayes, on the inside of Yeadon, takes third place away from Yeadon at hairpin 3. We've got Sullivan already working away on the 27 of William Howard.
Top 2 though, Tom, moving away. Obviously Hayes finding a way past Yeadon on that last lap, so it's opened up a little bit of a gap to Thomas Potter and Edward Rye, although Rye closing
I was just going to say,
on the way through.
looks like Hayes is closing that gap already and bringing the rest with them.
William Howard down the inside of Mason Dinsdale. Joshua Sullivan tries to stick the cart into the same gap and gets that one closed off. So Howard moves up into 5th place. Rye out of the slipstream down the back straight. Has he made a move on Potter? I don't think he has. He certainly looked interested in taking the lead.
Sullivan's got his sticker back.
Retrieved.
Retrieved.
Yes.
Yeah, and stuck back on the front. Anyway, just thought I'd give you a bit of an update on that for those of you who are with us during Hairpin 3. Heat 3, as they go through Hairpin 3. So it's Potter from Rye. Hayes setting the fastest lap of the race, closes in, as we say, 4/10 off the back now of Thomas Potter. Then it's Yeadon, Howard, Dinsdale, Sullivan, Batcher, McNeil and Turner, your top 10.
Nose to tail through the chicanes they go. All very, very tight into hairpin number 1. And then Sullivan looks like he's going to have a straight line job down the inside into hairpin 2 on Mason Dinsdale. Uses all the track on exit, moves through up into 6th place. Sam Hayes, though, now moving away from Samuel Yeadon and onto the leading duo of Potter and Edward Rye, with the fastest lap on the previous lap as well by 2/10. Sam Hayes looks like he's very, very interested in turning this into a 3-kart battle for the lead. Joey Swan there tries to move down the inside of Toby Turner in the 16th. In turn comes under pressure from Matthew Plant.
They are nose to tail now, the front 3 as they came over the line. There is a slight gap then, and Sam Hayes sets the fastest lap of the race for good measure. Slight gap to Yeadon now, so we've got a front 3 and then another 3.
Yes, Hayes with the 2nd fastest lap in a row. He tries to move on. Out in the background though, Sullivan's moved out of the slipstream of William Howard early on down that back straight. Howard's going to try and close the door. Problem Howard's got is he's going to find Mason Dinsdale down the inside as well, as Harry Scrafton in the 44 is swamped by the field as they come through. Sullivan's wide at hairpin 4. He's going to get run out wide, I think, by Mason Dinsdale. Dinsdale's going to be side by side. Then there's contact. Sullivan and Dinsdale. Contact. Sullivan's right up over the back of Dinsdale as they come through. Both of them looking to still be in this race. Sullivan spent a huge amount of time there up on the back of Dinsdale.
Both drivers seem to be okay and carrying on. We've got a replay as well coming in of that.
We have. Let's have a quick look.
So Dinsdale moved
contact
across.
there. Yeah, I'd expect a warning for the 13 there, Tom.
Yeah,
going up over the back of Mason Dinsdale.
It's similar to what we saw earlier in the day as well. And
yeah, heavy.
Well. Yeah. So but both drivers lucky to carry on going and carry on. They are. That's put Sullivan down to around about 8th, I think. Although he's quickly back up to around about 6th. I think it is 6th. I think.
Yeah, I think they're pretty much where they were, Tom.
Yeah.
On that previous lap, Dinsdale
has got a contact warning go out for the 13.
Yeah, not surprised.
So it's 7th for Sullivan, apologies, 7th for Sullivan, and it is Dinsdale in 5th still. We've got Sam Hayes, fastest lap of the race once again, as these front 3 are still nose to tail. Samuel Yeadon's in a little bit of
no man's land at the minute.
A little bit, but Dinsdale is going to be right in that slipstream now, and he's going to close up with the help of the 2 behind. Potential help. There we go, as we look at that. There's Howard on the inside, defending against Sullivan, and they are now a train of 4 as they head through hairpin 4. Still 5 minutes to go, plus 1 lap here. It is Potter from Rye, as it's been throughout this race. Hayes has taken 3rd place, and Sullivan with the fastest lap of the race now. In 7th place, but it is Potter, Rye, Hayes, Yeadon, Dinsdale, Howard, Sullivan. Then Cameron McNeil is in 8th place, which I believe is the highest he's been today. Luca Battueb in 9th, and Toby Turner still 10th.
Oh, lap traffic.
Somebody's off.
Sam Hayes has come into contact with William Collinson in the 74. That Hayes has dropped right off the back of the leading duo and is now being engulfed by Samuel Yeadon and some of the others as well. Dinsdale is through. Yeah. Sullivan's going to try a sweeping move all the way round the outside of William Howard, and then that's going to put him in a position to put down the inside into hairpin 4.
That was a good move from Sullivan. Well planned there, right round the outside.
I think you'd seen that Howard had been rather defensive on the previous few laps.
Yeah. He was defensive there, but that's allowed, as we said, that contact has allowed the front 2 to go away, and Yeadon then gets bulked by traffic as well, And that's going to drop Yeadon down, certainly at least one place as Hayes goes through, and Sullivan goes through as well because of that. So that's dropped Yeadon down to 6th place. We've got Rye and Potter still these front two, and Rye not feeling the need. Not feeling the need to use the slipstream of Potter as they headed down the back straight. And then we've got contact once again, and Sullivan's round. That was contact with, I think that was Hayes.
But he went into the, he was halfway down the inside of Hayes, and then Yeadon as well. The three of them sort of came together, and as the cart was light on entry, then there's contact, nowhere to go really, and Sullivan turned round into a spin.
Yeah, I think Sullivan was kind of the meat in the sandwich there, as he got a little bit of a push from behind from Yeadon. And we've got black flag has gone out for the 44 of Harry Scrafton.
Yeah, not sure what that is. Everyone, oh no, I meant for the black flag. Yeah, we've had, it's 3 o'clock, isn't it, Tom?
Yeah, I've just realised. Yeah, we've just had the national alert go out, so we forgot that was coming. I meant to mention that post lunch break actually, but we got a little bit caught up. But yes, that's
Cameron McNeil getting himself involved in this battle for 4th place.
Yeah, good show from Cameron McNeil. It's taken him a few heats to get up towards the front of this one, but certainly starting to look lively now. So it is, at the front, it is still Potter from Rye. Then with all of the action going on, we've had a bit of a gap open up now to Dinsdale in 3rd, and then another gap open to Hayes in 4th. Then it's Yeadon, then we've got Howard, and then just on the back of this one is the aforementioned Cameron McNeil.
Warning for Yeadon on the overhead gantry. Now Yeadon's going to try and go down the inside of Sam Hayes into hairpin 3. Then there's a bit of contact between the two of them. That's going to allow William Howard and Cameron McNeil to close in. Two leaders are still as you were. They're still trying to catch up with the lap traffic in front of them as they sweep round the outside of the 44 of Harry Scrafton.
We did have a black flag go out.
Showing on the overhead gantry as well. Yeah. And once again, Tom, they've lap traffic's found the 44 car in the middle of the chicanes at the moment. And they're trying to sweep around. Luca Batuev has been tipped into a spin. So he's facing the wrong way in the middle part of that corner. At hairpin number 1.
Oh, there was a little bit of a love tap there from Yeadon coming into South Bank corner.
And he's already on a contact warning. He just needs to be a little bit careful.
This, of course, being the battle for 4th place.
Joey Swan then now up into 9th place. Fastest lap from Sullivan.
Yeah, back into 10th place now, so making his way back forward, and there's potential here for 8th place on the cards for Sullivan, which will be some good championship points.
He already dropped a fair few, didn't he, with the incident in heat number 1, with him being in the tyres. That dropped him down to 21st place, so not quite what he was expecting. Lap traffic once again in front of Sam Hayes, and they try to sweep round the outside. And then there's a bit of contact, is there? No, all sorted and facing in the right direction still down there, I think. Although I think that has dropped Cameron McNeil off the back of this trio now.
They did make it across the line before the timer ran out, so we will have 2 more laps here. They will take the last lap board this time around. We're looking at the front 2. This is Potter and Rye. These 2 have been nose to tail from the drop of the green flag. Has Rye got any answer for the pace of Potter here with a lap and a half to go? We've already seen Rye take a win here today, his first win in a heat here in Honda Cadet at Teesside. Potter has had 2nd place all day, but he's making the most of being at the front right now. Has Rye got any answer for him as they come over the line to start the final lap here in the Honda Cadet final?
So it's Potter from Rye, Dinsdale, Hayes, Howard, Yeadon, McNeil, Swan, Sullivan and Plant then your top 10.
Sullivan with potentially 8th on the cards, potentially even 7th with Cameron McNeil. As Rye moves to the inside, does he? Does move to the inside, Potter blocks him off. Rye's going to try and go round the outside of South Bank. That one's not going to work. Is he going to cut to the inside for hairpin 3? No.
Did it on the start line, didn't he, of heat 3?
Yeah, he's going to try it again here, I'm sure. As Potter goes defensive into hairpin 4. Rye's going to try and get the cut back and get the drive out, but I don't think it's going to be enough. It is going to be over the line for a fight. Is it? Only just!
So close.
Very good showing from Edward Rye. Congratulations to Thomas Potter. That is a final victory once again for Thomas Potter here in the Teesside Owner Driver Sprint, round number 2. Edward Rye with a massive challenge as they came over the line. They went side by side and was only 0.083 of a second behind Potter as they head down the back straight and have a fist bump and say congratulations everybody, well done, and you've all made it back nice and safe. We've got Potter from Rye. Dinsdale takes your final step on the podium after a heat win earlier today as well. So he takes your final step on the podium. Then it was William Howard, Sam Hayes, Samuel Yeadon, Joshua Sullivan recovered to 7th place. Cameron McNeil takes a well-deserved 8th place with Joey Swan showing well in 9th and Matthew Plant also showing well in 10th place. So well done to all of you and all of our runners here in Honda Cadet. That brings to a close your final 4 Honda Cadet, and we will move to the first of our 2-stroke categories, which will start with the Intermax class.
Grid then for our Minimax final sees Ben Adrian and Amy Peacock share the front row. Alex Lynn and Alfie McBain on row 2, Charlie Eibel and Sebastian Benson on row number 3. Then it's Ben Robinson after his earlier disqualification in heat number 1 for being underweight, and Harris Ali in 8th place. Ashton Carmichael not been with us all day. Very unlikely that he's just turned up to do the final, so it will be 8 runners in our Minimax class. There's our race winner from our Honda Cadets, Thomas Potter. I think he's just waiting to ensure that he is of the right weight, and then he's going to be rolled off to the left-hand side for scrutineering.
It's clearly too cool for a dab, Thomas Potter.
Everybody's too cool for a dab, Tom. Everybody.
Want to see some dabs, want to see some big celebrations, want to see some Sebastian McCarthy style. So heading round on the rolling up lap.
All nicely into position as they head round. Adrian trying to get some temperature into the tyres. Through they come, over start finish, nice and slow for our Minimax, though Alex Lynn wants to get this one going as he gives Ben Adrian a little tap just to help him along. Let him know that he wants to get this one started, but it's as you were with Adrian from Amy Peacock, then Alex Lynn and Alfie McBain with Sebastian Benson, Ben Robinson up into 6th place, Charlie Eibel and Harris Ali, the sole Inter-Mini. So head off down the back straight. We saw Ben Adrian open the gap up early in heat number 1, in heat 3. And then it was Amy Peacock closing it in after that.
Yeah, it was, and it's been like that most of the day, to be honest, hasn't it? Although Peacock did manage to get through in heat 3. She's clearly got the pace to be super quick here. And be quicker than Ben Adrian, who certainly was in heats 2 and 3. Finally managed to make her way through in heat 3 and take the win, but it is 2 wins for Adrian and just the 1 win for Peacock so far here today. But the two of them are going to go at it again, I'm sure. The gap was out to 0.6 of a second almost at the end of that lap.
You can see as well, Tom, into hairpin 1, how much more grippy the track is. You can't really see it on the camera. We can out the combox because it's pretty much at a 45-degree angle to us. But they're getting a huge amount of inside left wheel lift round there now as the outside right grips up and the chassis flexes. They're getting a lot more. They're able to lift the inside rear in order to make the corner a little bit easier for them.
Well, part of the reason for that is that obviously the track was what we call very green at the start of the day, so we had a huge amount of rainfall yesterday, washed all the track down, washed all that rubber off the circuit. So part of the conundrum that the mechanics and the drivers have got in setting these karts up is not just the change in temperature that we've had since this morning, which to say the least has been dramatic in the change in temperature and the change in weather. It was very cold, very damp this morning. It's now blazing sunshine and very warm out there. So you've got that to take into account, but you've also got the fact that the track is now rubbering back up as well. So more grip is being applied to the circuit. So when you are trying to change your setup, you've got to take that into account as well. Amy Peacock clearly doing a very good job of that as she set the fastest lap of the race. Yeah,
fraction quicker than Ben Adrian at the front. The battle for third place going on here between Alex Lynn, Alfie McBain and Ben Robinson. With Lynn holding firm, just parking that kart where he needs to. McBain sliding it slightly wide. This time round, it's Peacock once again, Tom, just over 1/10 of a second quicker than Ben Adrian. The gap down to under half a second. As you mentioned previously, getting into that slipstream territory.
Yeah, very much so, and moving towards the rear end of Ben Adrian's kart. The battle for third place on the road is very much on, though, with Alex Lynn, Alfie McBain and Ben Robinson once again going at it, the three of them. We've seen this throughout, particularly Heat 3, but Heat 2 to an extent as well. And that is Robinson. That goal got a little bit close for comfort with Alfie McBain. McBain, as we've seen, is making his kart very difficult to overtake here today. And rightly so. As Ben Adrian sets the fastest lap of the race.
He's wider than a Cadillac.
He is, yeah. We'll get him some of those ones that you get on the back of a HGV. Some of those orange and yellow high-vis ones.
And if it gets any wider, he's going to need an escort vehicle.
Get the ones that they put on James Hunt's car, the extra wide car. There we go. Ben Robinson on the inside again, and basically has to nudge his way through because McBain was coming back down the hill at South Bank Corner. Tried immediately to respond in hairpin 4, but could not get that move even half completed, and Ben Robinson is through. Peacock has closed the gap once again. So Adrian put in the fastest lap of the race on the previous lap. Immediately responded, did Amy Peacock, and she has closed the gap now to 0.339 of a second. That slipstream is in full effect now as they head down the back straight. 5 minutes plus 1 lap to go. Amy Peacock is right there with Ben Adrian. The battle for the lead and the final win here at Teesside for round number 2 as they head out of hairpin 4 and over the line one more time.
Just over half race distance in this 5 minutes plus 1 lap final in terms of time, and once again Amy Peacock with the fastest lap of the race. Another 10th out of Ben Adrian, starting to edge ever so closer in terms of being able to put a move in. I think you've got to be in that sort of 2/10 territory, and she's now in that. There's a look over the shoulder from Ben Adrian.
Very much knows she's there, definitely knows she's there now with that push to the rear. So Peacock letting Adrian know 100% that he is under pressure and is going to have to go like the clappers now to hold off the charging Amy Peacock. Another fastest lap of the race for Amy Peacock. It's going Max Gilman style at the moment.
Fastest lap, followed by fastest lap, followed by fastest lap.
That's what we call Gilman style.
Which is better than Gangnam Style.
If you don't know what we're talking about, watch round 1.
Yeah. Oh, there was well, we clipped it up into a highlight of the week. Of course.
We did, of course. If you go and follow the Teesside Owner Driver Sprint page on Facebook, you will be able to see that clip. It's basically sort of 2 minutes or so of David and I going, oh, it's fastest lap of the race for Max Gillman.
Fastest lap? Who for? For Max Gillman. Had a lot of fun that day.
And Peacock not setting a fastest lap that time round, possibly because she's got Ben Adrian as a barrier in front to that time.
Ben Robinson is through into 3rd place, having got past Alex Lynn on the previous lap. So he's now up into 3rd and looking to break away as Lynn comes under pressure from Alfie McBain.
Scruffy lap here from Peacock, has dropped off a couple of kart lengths off the back of Ben Adrian. We need to use that slipstream once again. We've got 2 minutes 40 seconds as they go over the line, plus 1 more lap to go. The 2 at the front are well clear now of this second trio, headed now by Ben Robinson. Alex Lynn there holding on well in the 2nd place of that trio, 4th place overall, and Alfie McBain still there in 5th. We've got Sebastian Benson in a fairly lonely race behind that, a good 3 seconds or so from the back of Alfie McBain, and then Charlie Eyeball another 3 seconds off that, and Harris Ali down in 8th place at the moment. Oh, bit of contact there between Lynn and Robinson.
It was forceful.
And then returned to the favour once again. All's fair in love and war as those two came together, and that's allowed McBain through on Lynn.
Great little sequence there between the 3 of them. Obviously, Ben Robinson, Alex Lynn trying to move down the inside on Ben Robinson. Robinson having none of it.
Look at the front 2 as they have come back together again. We don't want to miss a change for the lead here in the final, but yeah, that was a bit robust from both of them there, and the one who came off worst was Alex Lynn, who actually instigated the start of it. So
yeah, we saw it earlier though. When you're in that middle, you go for 3rd, and you often end up coming out in 5th.
Potential justice being done, I suppose, in terms of, you know, if you want to look at it that way. Alex Lynn instigated it. Amy Peacock with another fastest lap of the race, and then came off worst, did Alex Lynn. But I'm sure we'll be having eyes on overtaking Alfie McBain and potentially Ben Robinson once again. So we've got probably 2 laps to go here, 2.5 laps to go as they come round this time. So plenty of time still here for Peacock to get a move done on Ben Adrian. Is she just biding her time? Are they going absolutely Harry Flatters? I think they are, because they're setting fastest lap after fastest lap. Or is Peacock just biding her time behind now, waiting for that last lap board goes out? Of course, it is a gamble.
Hasn't really shown the hand yet, though.
No, but it is a big gamble to hold off any longer than is absolutely necessary. Most of the time, you'll just go for it. Head down South Bank corner for one more time. Into hairpin 3. Adrian, I thought she was going to think about straight lining it there into hairpin 4. Just taking the normal racing line so far, tucking in. Final lap board is out. One more lap to go. Probably 3 more chances for Adrian here to hold off Peacock.
First one's coming up at hairpin 1.
Is he going to go defensive on the inside? Takes a slightly tighter line. Didn't feel the need to go fully defensive. Likewise into hairpin 2, probably maybe half a kart width over to the inside of the circuit. But not going full defensive here. Is that going to cost him, especially if he doesn't do it through hairpin 3?
A lot tighter there, isn't he? Peacock could be too close to make that straight line run down into 4, and I think she was. Out of the final corner, though, comes Ben Adrian to take the checkered flag, and victory at round number 2 from Amy Peacock in 2nd place. 3rd place is going to go to Ben Robinson, who's held off Alfie McBain and Alex Lynn. and he comes straight off into pit lane, as does Alex Lynn, with Alfie McBain in 4th place. Then it's Sebastian Benson in P6 with Charlie Eibel crossing the line in 7th overall. Harris Ali, Sol into Mini, will be making his way around hairpin 3 and 4. Just comes into shot there now, followed by our 2 outright race leaders in Ben Adrian and Amy Peacock.
Well, congratulations, Ben Adrian. Is he going round again?
Yes, it would appear he's having a victory lap.
Yeah. No celebrations from Ben Adrian either. Disappointing, sir.
Well, maybe, I don't know. Maybe he still thinks he's racing. He's had that victory. I just had a look over his shoulder.
Wonders if where's everybody gone?
See where Amy Peacock is. She's
in the pit lane because the checker flag's gone out.
She's weighed. The cart's in the back of the van.
Behind him now.
Amy's already been weighed. The cart's in the back of the van. She's on the way. She's on the way back to South Yorkshire.
Ben Adrian's still going round. We should have given him the checker flag over the line. do it that way. But no, well done, Ben Adrian. On your final victory, and Amy Peacock for 2nd and Ben Robinson for taking 3rd. That will move us on to our junior Rotax final.
In front of what would have been Melissa Adrian, Sam Robson and James Philip Byrne. We won't see Melissa Adrian or James Philip Byrne out, so we will be slightly down on numbers in this junior Rotax final. There's the second half of the grid with Luke Walton and Oliver Green showing the 7th and 8th, and then we're going to have Sam Robson out there as well. I think a quick look for him. He is out, obviously. Through they come then with Jared Fox-Whiteley and Monroe Renard over the line. Renard's had a good start here, Tom, off the outside of the front row, and he's swept round the outside into the lead. So sweeps past Fox-Whiteley. Monroe Renard then leads this final from Fox-Whiteley and Addison Smith, with Oscar Waugh in 4th place in the number 2 in front of Max Wilkinson and Joseph Yao. Down the back straight they go towards South Bank for the first time in this 12 minutes plus 1 lap final. An extra 2 minutes for our juniors.
It's going to be a long race, this final for junior Rotax. 12 minutes plus a lap as Fox-Whiteley tries the slide job on Monroe Renard. Half gets it completed as Renard does give Fox-Whiteley the rear bumper tap as they came out of hairpin 4, and Fox-Whiteley got the move done and took the lead. Smith now tapping away on the back of Renard's rear bumper as they head through the national loop. And through he goes in hairpin 2. Good clean move there, parked it well and got the move completed just about as they went down the back straight. Monroe Renard tucking in behind. Then we've got Oscar Waugh showing well in 4th place. Of course, had a very good heat number 3. Finishing 3rd, and then it is Wilkinson and Yao. Yes, Wilkinson, then Yao, then Robson, Walton, and Green. Your 9 runners.
Jared Fox-Whiteley with a gap of just under half a second as they came over the line to begin lap 3. We've got Joseph Yao into a spin at hairpin number 1. That's going to drop him down to the tail end of the field in 9th place. And the tyre wall on the inside there, Tom, has taken a bit of a clattering because it's been pushed right in. We'll be able to see that on the camera when it comes round as Oscar Waugh goes down the inside of Monroe Renard. That'll move him up inside the top 3 and provisionally onto a podium place. Renard not wanting to give that one up too easily, but has to relent in the end. Through comes Fox-Whiteley. The next camera shot we should see in a minute, we should be able to see the what I meant by the tyres on the inside have taken.
Oh, look at that for a move from Renard.
Hard on the brakes. Oscar War's coming back down the inside, and Renard's going to get the switch back. Now, Renard asking Oscar War to push him along.
That was a great move from Renard into hairpin 1, fully sideways. And it was a case of wherever you brake, I will brake later and I will be coming through, and did so. Then, of course, got this switch back through hairpin 2 and moved through into 3rd place. That's the final step of the podium. Addison Smith currently holding the fastest lap of the race and looks to be right on the tail of Fox Whiteley as well for the lead. So we've got a battle for 1st place raging, and we've got a battle for 3rd raging as well.
Get the feeling this one for 3rd is going to go on lap as Oscar War tries to get a run down the inside of Monroe Renard. What it will do is it will slow them down to the point where it's only going to be worth them battling with each other rather than working together to push on towards Fox Whiteley and Addison Smith at the front. The gap already some 2.5 seconds from the top 2. So looks like this is going to be a battle for the final step of the podium, which is currently being held by Monroe Renard. Head round that national loop.
Oh, Oscar War really tried to force the way through there on Renard into hairpin 1 and couldn't get it completed, as we now shift focus to the front 2. Fox Whiteley still leading from Addison Smith. This is the one that we were looking forward to coming into this final, was these two going at it, and they very much are fulfilling those hopes. They head through the D chicane and the national loop. You can see Fox Whiteley working hard at the wheel there to hold it in position and hold that line. A lot of lock going into hairpin 1 as well. Completely different style to Addison Smith. Got that kind of cadet style of hairpins for, or maybe even a pro kart style of, a lot of lock going in, a lot of steering angle. You see it a lot with drivers who came up through sort of the 90s cadets and things like that. They have a huge amount of steering input going through, and Fox Whiteley very much in that style. Addison Smith, the other end of the scale, and looks very smooth, not seesawing at the wheel at all, and minimum input. Jensen Button style.
Fast and smooth.
Fast and smooth, yeah. Fox Whiteley kind of rags it around like a rag doll.
The 12 of Luke Bolton has peeled off into the pit lane out of 8th place.
What I would say about the differing styles is it clearly makes no difference with .074 between them over the line. It's just whatever you're comfortable with.
Yeah, there's not much more this time either. The gap out to 2/10, but it's hardly worth talking about when you can see them in the same frame.
Yeah, exactly. And we've got Monroe Renard and Oscar War still nose to tail as well for 3rd and 4th place, although a long way back from these two now. Tune of best part of 6 seconds.
They've got two very different styles as well. Obviously on the brakes, Monroe Renard hard and sideways. Oscar War looks a little bit more measured. Still very, very similar in lap times.
And then just behind those two, you've also got Wilkinson and Robson and nose to tail as well. So we've got 3 groups of 2 here fighting it out. And in fact, it looks like Wilkinson and Robson might be starting to edge towards the back of Renard and War. Yeah, so it will be if they start battling once again. That's going to become
just one overtaking opportunity away from turning this into a 4-kart battle.
Correct, yeah.
And
there goes that. There goes one opportunity. Anyway, that's War and Renard side by side.
Yeah, but look in the background. That's the two that we were talking about. Monroe Renard wanting Oscar War to push on, but pushing them on towards the leading duo is long gone out the window with a 7-second gap.
And because they're fighting it amongst themselves, that's pushing on Wilkinson and Robson as they go side by side once again, and War forcibly makes his way through. Addison Smith sets the fastest lap of the race, but War takes at 3rd place in the final step of the podium away from Monroe Renard through hairpin 4, got the move completed, and that's now putting Renard under pressure from Wilkinson and Robson.
Contact warning for Oscar Waugh, and Monroe Renard slides it down the inside with another superb overtake on Oscar Waugh. It's almost like a highlight reel at the moment for Monroe Renard.
Yeah, he's doing well with those sideways overtakes into hairpin 1. It's become a little bit of a trademark, and gets a tap for good measure from Oscar Waugh, who's already picked up one contact warning. There could well be a second one coming out for that move as well.
Yeah, I think it's going to be shown on the overhead gantry as they come through. Got to be very careful, of course, that they don't incur a front fairing penalty. Too much pressure applied on the nose and it will push it in and drop it down in the bracket, and that's a 5-second penalty that is not up for discussion post-race.
Yeah, definitely, and that can occur any time in the race as well, or even before the race. And we've seen it happen where people have done it on the roll-up laps as well, which is not the cleverest idea. But now that nose to tail again, and there goes the round. Max Wilkinson was turned around by Sam Robson. Not quite sure what happened there, but Wilkinson had a very late entry to South Bank. Not sure why. Robson put the nose down the inside. Here we go. We're going to have a look at it now. So yeah, really wide entry. Robson saw a gap, went for it, and then Wilkinson, a little bit too late, tried to make the apex.
Yeah, turned in very, very late there. You can't blame Sam Robson really for putting the car in that position, because Wilkinson had run wide on entry into that corner, and then Wilkinson turned in very, very late, as you say, and then found Sam Robson there.
So that's spread the gap out now between third and fourth, and it is now Sam Robson in a lonely 5th place, and Max Wilkinson has now got Joseph Yao for company for 6th place.
2.5 minutes remaining for Jared Fox-Whiteley and Addison Smith.
I've been looking forward to these two going nose to tail throughout the day, to be honest with you.
Smith's taking it fairly easy. Considered a radiator flap adjustment there, but then changed his mind as they headed down towards South Bank corner. I don't know whether he ran out of time in order to make that adjustment. So let's see whether he does it on exit as the track straightens up over start finish. Doesn't look like he has. They try to maintain the optimum water temperature.
Been watching Andy Fox-Whiteley out of the commentary box window. He's giving hand signals out to Jared as he comes through, and they've got their own little code system, obviously, with no radios or pit boards or anything like that required here. So there's hand signals go out, and it's quite interesting watching them communicate with each other.
The ones and twos,
ones, twos, the little pinches and, up your pace and drop your pace and think and all that kind of stuff. And you can imagine the universal language going out from the fence. If you can think what it'll look like, that's probably what it looks like. It's quite funny to watch. But yeah, they are still, as you were, Addison Smith keeping his powder dry at the moment. Hasn't even really put a move on Fox-Whiteley so far. He's just been content to follow in the wheel tracks of the 22 car. They will come over the line this time, and we should get at least 2 laps in here. Oh, as I say it, Addison Smith does for the first time wet his powder.
Powder soaking wet
yeah,
on.
And away he goes.
40 seconds remaining as they came over the line, so it's likely that they'll see the last lap board at the end of this lap. 2 laps remaining then in junior Rotax. Oscar Waugh still now in front of Monroe Renard once again.
So this one's come alive all of a sudden. What's got Fox-Whiteley got left in the tank? Is he going to have a couple of laps here in the wheel tracks of Addison Smith and make a move on the final lap? Or is he just going to go for it straight away? He does, in fact, at hairpin 4, tries to return the favour and do to Addison Smith what was done to him on the previous lap. Can't get the move completed. A little shake of the head.
Final lap, Tom, but I don't think they'll have seen it once again as they've gone underneath the overhead gantry and they were turning right. So it is the final lap here at Teesside, and Fox-Whiteley, who was very, very slow out of hairpin 4 in making that overtake, has dropped off the back of Addison Smith here. Don't think he's going to be close enough.
No, he looked to be pushing hard through hairpin 1 and 2 as well, and a little bit too hard as he lost traction through there. So Addison Smith heads through hairpin 3 for the final time. Looks to be fairly comfortable at the moment, and is through hairpin 4, and looks like that's going to be it and done and dusted here. The final of Junior Rotax is going to go the way of Addison Smith. Fox Whiteley takes second place, with Oscar War potentially coming through in third. It's not going to be, it's going to be Monroe Renard coming through in third place. Oscar War is going to finish in fourth place here in Junior Rotax. So Monroe Renard, with an overtake on the final lap of the race, takes the third place in the final step of the podium. Oscar War in fourth, Sam Robson in fifth. Max Wilkinson will come over the line in sixth, with Joseph Yao in seventh and very close company. Oliver Green will finish be classified as eighth, and Luke Walton in ninth. So congratulations to Addison Smith. A final win here, and he's gone round again as well.
I think it's because they've not seen the final lap board before, but
he gets a long look from Fox Whiteley. Where are you going?
Maybe they're just. I'm enjoying these victory laps.
Extra roll down laps. I'd like to see some celebrations while they're doing it, though. Maybe I don't know.
The worst thing is,
I just like to see somebody happy that they've won.
He's done one extra lap as well, so use more fuel up. Who knows? Could come out. But look, you've got a picture of the weighbridge on there, Tom. As they come into.
Gone a little bit far. You're gonna have to roll back, sunshine. There we go. That's your third place for Monroe Renard, and there's Oscar War, who's going to take fourth. Just filling in our sheet.
There's your race winner then, rolling in onto the weighbridge. Addison Smith. That car will then go off to post-race scrutineering.
Let's hope he was overweight, because he's done an extra lap on the fuel now as well. I wonder whether they accounted for that.
Senior Rotax are already rolling their way out onto track for the penultimate final of the day, so it's time. Senior Rotax.
So your final for Senior Rotax, they are already making their way around hairpin 4. So Shane Collinson from Martin Fisher, Alfie Wallbank, Andy Collinson, Paul Swan, Kieran Savage, and Arthur Lowthian, Nathan Jensen, and Andy Hull. We're not sure whether he's going to be in part of this final or not yet. We'll find out as they come over the line.
Yeah, I think he's out. I think it's still Jensen that we're missing, which drops us down to 8 runners. But looks like we've got Andy Hull out in the 17. Over the line they come then. Collinson leads the way. Fisher makes a good start off the outside. He's just going to have to try and run it all the way around the outside. Finds Andy Collinson in there and then gets forced wide. We'll slot back into third place though. Front of Alfie Wallbank and Kieran Savage. With Paul
Collinson
Swan.
With a lovely move at hairpin 1.
Yep, finding his way through.
So leading now for Andy Collinson in that 177 weighted car. Everybody else in the 162. But finding a way through on brother Shane and taking the lead. It is going to be Fisher in third place on the road, but of course second in class. Then it's Alfie Warbank, Kieran Savage, Paul Swan, Arthur Lowthian and Andy Hull, and we are missing Nathan Jensen.
Yeah, missed heat number 3, so I think there's a problem for Jensen. It's meant that he hasn't been able to get out for heat 3, nor the final. Shane Collinson in the slipstream of Andy down that back straight.
Yeah, so head through into hairpin 3 for the second time already, and Fisher is still there, as is Alfie Wallbank as well. He's had a good day so far today as Alfie Wallbank. Kieran Savage then, and Alfie Warbank, as I say, that puts in the fastest lap of the race so far. Of course, we've only had 2 laps, but showing very well early doors here is Alfie Warbank, putting Martin Fisher under pressure
And with Andy Collinson being at the head of this one, it's effectively backing Shane Collinson into the rest of the field, because it's struggling to find a way past. Now, we know that 162 car is going to be quicker than the 177 of Andy Collinson. Doesn't mean that Andy's going to let him
slow
through,
corners, yeah, but it will be definitely quicker out of these slow corners. But like you say, David, Andy Collinson's in no obligation to let anybody through. And in fact, we've seen that throughout the day. He's been fighting pretty hard with people who are running carts that are 15 kilos lighter than his.
Still the top four nose to tail. Then there's a bit of a gap back to Paul Swan, who's managed to find his way through past Arthur Lowdy and Kieran Savage. The Swan now running up in 5th place. Still some 2 seconds behind those in front, but we still try to watch Shane Collinson find a way past Andy at the front. For the Martin Fisher and Alfie Wallbank, still nose to tail. Less than 0.8 of a second between your top four.
I'm going to throw it out there and say it's going to be well, Shane's now found a way through Andy Collinson and is moving away already at the front. But I was going to say it's going to be a pretty decent achievement if a 177 wins overall here.
You can see though the straight line speed now of Shane Collinson is able to move away from the rest of the field behind.
There goes Fisher looking on the inside of Andy Collinson, can't get the move completed. Neither can Wallbank then on Fisher, as it has that concertina. When you have one cart look on the inside of the other and put a kind of half move in, it slows you down, and the one behind will then have a go at you, and you're when you're in the middle of a 3 or 4 or 5, as we've seen certainly with Honda Cadet.
4/10 quicker than anybody else with Shane Collinson on that previous lap, now that he's got some clear air out at the front of this senior Rotax final.
Wallbank pushing along Martin Fisher now in 4th place, pushing him down the back straight and towards Andy Collinson. Are these two going to work together to try and get Collinson, or are they just going to fight it out for 3rd amongst themselves? We shall find out in the next 7 minutes, 3/4 and 1 lap.
Right, 2nd and 3rd between the two of them, isn't it, in terms of overall, the Rotax 162 podium.
Yeah.
Don't really need to battle with Collinson if they don't want to. I'm sure they'd like to find a way through, because if one of them can get through, then that may open up a bit more of a gap. You can see already at the start with Shane Collinson having found a way through, has now opened up a gap at a rate of around about half a second a lap.
I know it's an all-white kit with no stickers on it for Martin Fisher, but I like his classic nozzle panel that he's got on the nose there.
You mean rather than the hot dog one? There's a bit of contact there.
Was, yeah.
Between the two of them, as Alfie Wallbank got a bit of overspeed on the way out of hairpin number 4. Martin Fisher slowed ever so slightly.
Yeah, rather than the hot dog or what I call the smiley face one, which is what Paul Swan has got on his nozzle panel. So it's the bit above the nose that goes towards the steering wheel. You have this one that you can see there on Shane Collinson and Andy Collinson. They've got a big funnel type chute down the middle that's supposed to help the aero go, or the air go through that and make it slightly quicker. Not sure I believe any of that, and it looks like a hot dog bun. So we call them the hot dog noses. And then you've got Martin Fisher running the classic style, which is nothing like it. And I think it just looks a lot nicer. We've got the 36 of Kieran Savage pulling into the pits and destroying his tyres on the way in as well, giving it full lock and smoking them as he came into the pits, probably in frustration at retirement. So that's Kieran Savage out of the race. We're down to 7 runners here in Senior Rotax. If you are at a loose end and you've got a senior Rotax and you're free on the 4th weekend of the month, please bring it up to Teesside and have a crack, because it is a brilliant paddock here. We say it every single round, but it is the best paddock in the country. Everybody is willing to help. If you've got a senior Rotax and you've just started karting, if you're not, if you're experienced, even if you're at British Championship level and you're at a loose end, come along to Teesside and have a go. It's a great place to be. We love being here. And Alfie Wallbank loves being here as well, which is why he's just overtaken Andy Collinson.
Might be short-lived, unfortunately, for Alfie Wallbank.
About 100 yards.
Andy Collinson gets back down the inside on the entry into hairpin number 3, and Wallbank's going to have to do it all over again.
Martin Fisher has now dropped off the back of these two ever so slightly, about 0.6 of a second.
Gap out of the lead, moved out to almost 3 seconds for Shane Collinson. Comfortable at the moment as he managed to find a way past the Rotax 177 of Andy Collinson, which at the moment Alfie Wallbank and Martin Fisher have been unable to do. Late move dip out the slipstream there by Alfie Wallbank, too late in fact. As Shane and Andy Collinson manages to hold him off. Still got 1/3 of this race remaining, plus that one lap at the end. Still just over 4 minutes as the field comes over start finish. Fastest lap for Shane Collinson on lap number 5 it was.
Yeah, moved it out to 3.3 seconds. Well, he's just actually put in another one, hasn't he?
No, that was just lap 5. We're currently on lap 11.
Came up with the banner on screen.
Yeah, I think we're just catching up.
Okay. But yeah, moved it out to 3.3 seconds now. But Alfie Wallbank is still right there. And Martin Fisher has reclosed that gap and is only 0.4 back now. We'll be getting double slipstream off the 2 in front.
Yeah, had a slow lap, didn't he? Slow out a hairpin 4 that allowed Alfie Wallbank to sweep by. Now he's closing right up on the back of battle for second place again between Andy Collinson and Alfie Wallbank. He's going to be with them before Wallbank makes a move on Collinson again. You know he favours it out of hairpin 2 if he can get to the inside on the back straight. Did it earlier on in that run down towards South Bank, but now it's going to be Fisher who's going to take advantage of the 2 carts in front.
Yeah, definitely. He's right in the slipstream and he's closing right back in on these 2 now. Is there going to be a little bit of retribution for Martin Fisher? Is he going to start fighting his way back through to take second place here overall? Currently 3rd in the 162 class, of course, but 4th on the road.
Yeah, with the exception of that move with Wallbank down the inside on Andy Collinson, hasn't really decided to have much more of a go. And, drops half out the slipstream there, slots straight back in again. I don't know whether he's just trying to push away from Martin Fisher behind, but appears to have the pace, but maybe not able to find a way past Andy Collinson.
As you said, David, there's no need for them to fight because they're in separate classes, so you'd probably be better off just working away with Andy Collinson here to move away from Martin Fisher, but doesn't seem to be doing them much good at the moment as Andy Hull moves out of keeps out of the way of these 2nd, 3rd and 4th placed drivers.
This is where Wallbank should have the speed down the straight.
I think he does. I think he does have that speed. Not overly so. It's not a huge amount of difference, but it's here out of hairpin 4 where we should be able to just tap away on Andy Collinson and push each other away. But I don't know. Andy Collinson's got a huge amount of pace for a 177 weighted car. You know, to say he's carrying an extra 15 kilos. There really isn't much difference, is there?
No, it's like having your boot full of shopping, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, it's quite
a very small passenger.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of 15 kilos, particularly when you're trying to move it away from a slow exit out of a corner.
It doesn't seem to be damaging in terms of pace. You know, Wallbank there we saw did have the pace down the back straight, was able to pull alongside, but Collinson was already on the inside of that corner, so Wallbank just carrying that pace around the outside and tucking back in. So it wasn't an overtake as such, it was just more of a case of, I don't want to run into the back of you through South Bank. You know, I'm not going to push you along here, I'd rather push you down a straight. So just moved out ever so slightly, and as you can see, is making no attempt to overtake
Fisher's dropped off the back of this one.
Yeah, he
once
has,
again, Tom,
unfortunately.
4/10 of a second on the previous lap. So
Yeah, it's 1.3 now. And
now Collinson's defending.
I think Warbank has looked behind now and has seen that there's no real threat from Fisher. I know, with Collinson defending and potentially then backing him up, re-backing him into Fisher. If I was Warbank, I'd be a bit like, come on, mate, just let's work together, giving him some hand signals when he looks behind to say, look, don't fight, let's just work together.
It's all about a bit of pride though for Warbank now. He's second in class already.
Yeah.
But would he like to be second on track? I'm sure he would. At the moment, just seems to be.
But would you risk a half overtake when Collinson is in a different class, and if it comes together and goes wrong, all of a sudden you're on off the podium, aren't you?
Yeah, I don't think I would. But Alfie Warbank now. Shane Collinson will come through. Last lap board is shown on the overhead gantry.
Yep.
For our senior Rotax race leader.
Shane Collinson has already taken it and is already halfway through the national loop as these two go over the line for the final time. This is the battle for second on the road, as we've said, but different classes. Alfie Warbank tries to get a cutback through hairpin 1. I think he's going to have a good look behind here to see where Martin Fisher is. Yep, there you go, there's the look behind. Decides that there is no point in fighting too hard, runs around the outside of Andy Collinson, and will settle for second place. There goes Shane Collinson across the line to take the win here in senior Rotax on the road and in class. Andy Collinson will take the 177 class and finish second on the road. Alfie Warbank, a smart drive in third place, takes second in 162 class. Martin Fisher, fourth on the road. Paul Swan, fifth, and Arthur Lowthian, sixth place. Then it is going to be Andy Hull and Kieran Savage, unfortunately, retired. Which brings to an end senior Rotax and will bring us on to our final race of the day. Already absolutely flown by today. It really has. Obviously, we've got one class less here this weekend because no Micromax, but it's been an excellent day once again. Well organised, well run. And most importantly, everybody seems to be safe and okay from the reports that we have received so far. So there goes Shane Collinson, your senior Rotax winner. And we will move on to our final race of the day, which will be senior Pro Cards.
Caitlin Frame and David Brewis, with Amy Frame and Simon Dougherty down the back straight. Harry Roddis then is just in front, or just behind, so we'll screen will keep cycling through. Our junior pole will be Sophie Pawsey, having taken all three of the junior class wins so far today. So we did take you through the first half or so in our senior Pro Kart class with Josh Folks on the outside, just taking you through. 3 heat victories so far for Folkers off random grids is almost unprecedented with a random format. He's going to come through though. It's a very fast start, but we are away and racing. Shields has come through to get past Jessica Alexander at the start and slot straight in behind Josh Folkers. So it's Alexander then in third. Brown is up into fourth. Then it's Christian Oblag in front of Brandon Truman Reddish.
A huge amount of curb on the final part of the wiggles. Got airborne, and that allowed Alexander with a run through hairpin 2 Shields is going to hold on to second place,
though. She got through, though, down the inside into hairpin 2. Then Shields got cut back down the back straight and now holds back onto that place. Alexander then with the move back down the inside on Max Shields as the rest of the field streams through hairpin number 3 and 4. Been a nice clean start for Senior Pro Kart this time.
They all head over the line for the first time. Your top 10 is Falkus, Alexander, Brown, Oblag, Truman, Reddish, Frame, Brewis, Doughty and Gallop is leading your novice class well inside the top 10 and showing very well.
Onto the back straight they go at Falkus from Alexander. Falkus already opening a gap up of around about a second from Jessica Alexander. Quick look at the live chat that's coming in. We've had loads in this afternoon, but we've not really had a chance to dip into it, so thank you to everybody that has commented throughout the afternoon here at Teesside Autodrome. Falkus leading by 1.1 from Alexander and Maximus Shields. Then it's David Brown, Christian Oblag, Brandon Truman Reddish, who must be cold because he's put a coat on. In front of Caitlin Frame and David Brewis.
He's got a hood-style parachute out the back of his helmet.
Yeah, not quite so good for straight line speed, that I don't think, Tom.
No, definitely not. It is going to act like a parachute. It's going to be draggy as anything, quite literally, as he heads out of hairpin 4. So we'll see whether that does actually afflict him going down the back straight in particular. Falkus leads over the line with Jess Alexander in second, Max Shields in third place. Fastest lap for Falkus on that lap as well. Takes the gap out to 1.2 seconds.
Yellow flag out. We've got contact warning for the 6 of Dalton McCarthy. I think that could well be Simon Dougherty. It is. Simon Dougherty drops all the way down to tail of the field. He is out on the inside of hairpin number 2. Yellow flag out, no overtakes down there until everyone's past the incident. I say 6 Dalton McCarthy, contact warning, is currently in 23rd place.
I think that was Frame and Brewis, was it, we were looking at there. You can see Sophie Pawsey with that brand new helmet on the back of this train as she starts to make a move through on Oscar Buckley. And takes away 15th place. Jess Alexander now with the fastest lap of the race, a 46.6. Time's really quickening up here towards the end of the day, as expected, with the weather being as it is, although it has clouded over ever so slightly.
10th and a
for
half
this final.
Yeah, 10th and a half quicker Alexander than Falkus on the previous lap. The gap down to 1.1, but Falkus still comfortable at the front. Shields, though, going with Alexander in third place, as we see Caitlin Frame on the back of Brandon Truman Reddish. Behind them, I think that's David Brewis, who's just gone slightly wide out of hairpin 4 and dropped off the back of this train. Great showing for Caitlin Frame this weekend, Tom, in the club class of Pro Kart, but it's pretty much ran inside the top 10 all day on a very big and competitive grid.
Yes, very much so. Showing very, very well. We've got 2 novices inside the top 10, in fact. Now, the clubman class is headed, as we know, by Maximus Shields, but Oblag showing very well again in 5th place. And then we've got Caitlin Frame in 7th, who's also having a very good final.
Great little battle going on here, Tom. Harry Roddis gets his arm up off the wheel and doesn't seem to be too happy with the 172 of James Wilson. Jess Alexander, another fastest lap, almost half a second quicker than Josh Falkus, and he's just overcooked it ever so slightly into hairpin 1 as well, just out the combox window. Jess Alexander now within a kart length of your race leader.
Yeah, 46.3 as well for Alexander, so her pace has tumbled in terms of lap time. Really good showing from Alexander here in the final when it counts the most. her laps have been very, very quick. Max Shields has been dropped ever so slightly, such has been the pace of Alexander. She draws alongside Focus and opts to tuck back in as they come through and over the line and into the D chicane one more time. These front three now are well clear of David Brown by around about 1.6 seconds, but he has Oblag for company, who is in the clubman class. Christian Oblag's had a really, really good day.
Hasn't he? Currently running in second place in class. Alexander and Focus side by side, exchanging some side pods, and Max Shields is right back in this game. And he's going to try and move down the inside of Jess Alexander in regards to his own club championship.
Oh, there he goes.
And he's straight down there into the inside is Max Shields. Runs Alexander wide onto the rumble strip. Alexander's going to have to give this one up, and Max Shields is through into second place.
I don't know whether Focus knows that Shields is there. He put a full defensive move on Alexander. I think he's going to have a look behind him in a minute and see that Max Shields is right there, and that's going to come as quite a surprise. Maybe he's not even going to look behind him as Shields got fully crossed up, had a look down the inside of taking the lead here.
Yeah, and then has to hand second place over to Jess Alexander, and then they're inside as well. Alexander's trying to squeeze Shields to the inside, and Shields has to give that one up eventually as Alexander squeezed him all the way in. But in doing so, Josh Focus has been handed the gap back again at the front here, another half a second or so for Josh Focus, and Jess Alexander's going to have to close it in once again.
Yeah, has a look behind and sees that Alexander is now in second place once again.
Contact warning on the overhead gantry for the 172 of James Wilson and the 88 of Harry Roddice, who for the last 3 or 4 laps or so have spent most of it crashing into each other.
Okay. And probably hand waving as well.
Yeah, certainly.
Have we seen any Mamma Mia's, any Italian style?
Any Monzas?
Yeah, any Monzas, like it. Yeah, any of those? I'm not sure. We certainly haven't seen them on camera, but they could well have been going on as well. Probably to the start line march. As they come over the line, you'll see a few of those. As we look at Alexander and Shields once more. It's got its own meme, its own emoji that now, hasn't it?
I think so. There's some lap traffic in front of our race leaders here, Tom, with Focus closing in on the 19 of our junior pro kart runner, Joseph Williamson.
These two are going to have to start working together, but you know who has benefited the most out of these three fighting at the front?
David Brown's closed in.
That's
to
the
within
one.
A second of the battle in front.
And that will put him in slipstream range as well. So if he can start to use that to effect.
That lap traffic's coming around about now. You can just about see it there. They're going to have to try and find a way through cleanly here, and they could well meet the lap traffic at the D chicane and round the national loop. And obviously the national loop is single file pretty much around the inside, unless a gap can be created by your race leader, and there certainly was.
That was a rude awakening, wasn't it?
By Josh Focus.
So all of a sudden there was a Josh Focus on the inside. Yeah. That's a wake-up call.
I mean, it got him through, but it did cost him time, and now Jess Alexander and Max Shields are right on the back as they head down the back straight. Shields waving them on, telling Alexander, I'm not going to attack you, at least for this lap. I want to push on.
Oh, he's hoping that Focus does exactly what he's just done, which is go defensive, and that's going to give him an opportunity. Here we go, right around the outside. Shields, I thought he was going to drive clean around the outside of both of them, but again,
and he has.
There we go.
He's got one. Focus here knows really that Shields is in a different class on the thing, and Alexander's back through down the inside as Shields goes wide, but it's giving Focus boxing very, very smart here.
And Shields has got big brain engaged as well in terms of taking both of these potentially and the overall win here. He knows that these two are going to battle it out between them for the overall win. And Shields gives a bit of a, what are we doing here? As they go down the back straight once again. Carries so much speed there. Shields is, because these two are fighting it out for a class win and Shields isn't.
Warning for the 43.
Is that for overly defensive driving like that?
I think it could be.
There goes Shields round the outside. Just as I said, he saved it for a lap later. And David Brown is right there now. We've got a 5-kart train as Christian Oblag comes to play.
could even be Brandon Truman Reddish, Caitlin Frame in 6th and 7th. We've got 5-car battle for the lead. Still got 1 minute and 40. Josh Volker's gone super defensive in this one, all the way to the inside once again. And he's doing exactly the same.
Oh,
down
that's
the
causing
inside.
problems as Shields goes through, as does Brown on Alexander.
Yeah, one warning already.
Yeah,
it's
causing
not
a lot of
often we
problems
see
now.
a contact warning, I think, for
when you're
in front, but it's a couple of times now. Josh Volkers has pretty much stamped hard on the brakes and pretty much put that car into stop mode down the inside of hairpin 2 and hairpin 4 as well. The two ones where you get a long run. More lap traffic in front as they come up. I will tell you right now.
Taken 4th in all of that.
I will tell you right now, inside Jessica Alexander's helmet is quite possibly the reddest, angriest face.
Oh, you can almost see the mist and the steam coming out of the helmet.
Yeah, she will not at all be impressed with the tactics employed out there on track. She robustly moves down the inside of the 181 of Maximus Shields. Oblang, as you say, up into 4th place.
And that's giving Oblag now the chance for taking the Clubman class win from Max Shields.
Yeah, because he's going to be right on the back now. We've got 2 of them together with each other. Jess Alexander's going to have 2 more laps, 24 seconds on the clock when they come over the line. Last lap board next time out then for your race leaders. 2 laps for Jess Alexander to close in on Josh Volkers.
We were talking about Brandon Truman Reddish with his parachute out the back. It doesn't seem to be hurting him too much because him and Caitlin Frame have come to play as well. The front 7 now separated by 1.7 seconds.
You say that, he could be 5 seconds down the road if he was wearing his shield.
Well, exactly. He'd be leading this race. But they are still nose to tail. The front 7 have really come back together. We've got a contact warning going out for the 172 of James Wilson. That's possibly a second warning. I think we've got a second warning go out. We've got the 191 coming in.
Gallup
the pits.
Coming in.
Yeah, Liam. And that's a shame for Gallup as well, because was well inside the top 10 at one point.
Final lap
in this race
here at Teesside Autodrome for Senior Pro Car at round number 2. Jess Alexander closing back in. Just under 0.2 of a second. Josh Volkers look over the shoulder as they head down towards hairpin 1. Hard on the brakes. Let's see what the tactics employed here by Volkers are. He's almost stopped again, Tom, on the way into hairpin number 2. Alexander's got to the inside. They're going to run side by side down that back straight. And Josh Volkers and Jess Alexander, hostilities resumed here. Shields behind. He's got to be careful not to open the door for Oblang again, because once they stop, someone can just sweep all the way round the outside. Hard to the inside by Volkers. Oblag round the outside of Shields for 3rd place. This contact between the 2 of them, side by side towards the start-finish line. It's Volkers from Alexander, Shields, Oblag, and then it's been... it's anybody! It's anybody! Who knows? It's David Brown, Brandon Truman Reddish, Caitlin Frame, David Brewis, Amy Frame, and George Ludwell, I think, will come through for 2nd place, 3rd, a 10th overall, 2nd in class.
Despite all of that, it finished as you were.
We might as well have stopped it a lap earlier and saved my heart condition. Here we go, Tom. Final lap.
So I thought Alexander would run the berm right round the outside here and just go flat out around hairpin 4, but she didn't. She opted to go to the inside, tried to get the cut back. Shields and Oblag were making contact as they came over the line for the Clubman class win. So Oblag had an opportunity there for that victory, but it was Shields who eventually took that one and 3rd on the road. Brewis was in there as well. Brandon Truman Reddish. And then David Brewis as well. Volkers, Alexander and Shields have been parked up to the outside of the track, so have not been weighed yet.
Let's keep an eye out. Volkers is just sorting his car out. No drop-down bumpers, of course.
Yeah, so wonder whether there's going to be words mentioned here.
Well, the clock of the course is off in that direction, that's for sure. Alexander and Volkers are standing reasonably close together. I imagine it's frosty down there. We'll see.
I don't know.
Shields as well.
I think they've known each other long enough to know that it's racing.
It's all fair in love and war.
Well, it's racing, isn't it? And now Alexander's moved across to the Apollo Karts team as well. you know, they've known each other for a lot of years, these two, and we've certainly seen them battling over the last couple of years as well. So I think it was, yeah, a fairly even result in the end. But Falkers taking the win from Alexander, and then Shields in third place. So we'll wait to see whether there's any post-race, as we've got the Nazor panel of the 172 here of James Wilson. That could well be why we saw James Wilson coming in. But that brings to an end our day here at Teesside. It's been a brilliant one once again. We always love coming here. Fantastic action throughout the field, throughout all of our heats and our finals and all of our classes. It's been an excellent day. David, would you like to take us out?
Well, I just want to wish all the very best, of course, to Melissa Adrian and James Philip Byrne, who were involved in that incident earlier on today in the third heat of Junior Rotax. We wish them all the very best. We'll try and update via the Teesside Owner Drivers Facebook page and group as to their progress, and hopefully we'll see them back here for round number 3 in May. Thank you very much for spending your Sunday with us here on Alpha Live. We look forward to welcoming you back in a month's time for round number 3 of 8 of the NRG Cycles Owner Sprint Series. From myself, David Sullivan, Tom Butterworth, everybody at Alpha Live, have a lovely rest of your Sunday, and we'll see you soon.